venue, the next best place to go. I've seen a lot of my other friends who have passed through there, and it looked really amazing. Marseille looks amazing. So, welcome to everyone on the live chat. I see, Albert, you've made a link, been a comment. This is live. I hope. I'm sure you are. The fact that you made a comment, you can see us. But anyone else around, please share your comments. We'll have a look at them, put them up, obviously, and discuss some of them as well when we can. But as you know, Scotty, World Cup just marching along as it does, quickly into the final pool game. Obviously, the books aren't playing, but we can discuss some books later. Some little interesting topics to also discuss around conspiracies and doping and some topics we probably might not want to say to Stevie, man, I don't know if we should want to discuss that. I think we should try to keep it to the rugby, but we'll touch on those topics as well,
I think what we love about World Cup so much, it feels like a year of, rugby chat and drama. Now put it in a month, just it is non-stop. The fact that, Malcolm Marx being taken out of the World Cup feels like years ago at this stage. These conversations are just ever changing, and the amount of things coming in and out, it's been super interesting. But let's get stuck into it.
Yeah, no. So we've done quite deep dives on the previous rounds in the previous shows, but let's just quickly run through last week, starting off with Japan Samoa. Japan got the win there. It was very, very 50-50 in the fantasy stakes. I mean, I must admit, I was on Samoa. I was hoping they would gel and physicality and a bit of flair would have crossed them over the line there, but it was also a very strangely ref game, a very kind of weird game. Samoa did still, got the cards, came back, but Japan winning, do you say that was fair in the end of the day?
Yeah, I think, I'm glad they've won because I'm excited for their final game of that group. That's going to be incredible versus Argentina. That's going to be a proper spectacle. And I think given they have the best chance of going through, I love that Samoa have been putting up proper fights. And you're never going to be angry if they get the win, but I don't
know about you. I mean, they're out of it now, but I was expecting a little bit more. But then when you look at their preparation, I mean, I love their team. They've got some lovely players, but if you look at their preparation, they were on a hide into nothing, weren't they? So it's a bit of a pity.
No, it's tough. I think a lot of with these, Pacific Islanders, it's these guys, they're not playing together. The cohesion is purely on the basis that they get along well, not that because they know how to play with each other. And they tend to get that, and there is always, the positive vibe within those types of camps. You don't often hear of the other, but it's more just it's the lack of formal structures and real competition time amongst the team that tends to let them down. So I mean, if Fiji, who seem to be the most likely, or the only kind of possible ones to get through to the semi-finals, I'd like to maybe at the end of this show have a conversation about them being included into the Rugby Championship, because there were exclusions made for Argentina after they did that in 2007. Why not the same?
Yeah, I have my opinions on how all the rugby could be formatted going forward, because rugby, I mean, let's not go too much off topic, but at the moment, rugby on and off the field is not the product that we want it to be, really. Quick on to New Zealand, Italy. Wow. Hey, there were murmurings that Italy might win. That was never, ever on the forefront of my mind. But the fact of this whole Italy conversation, it goes back even to the inclusion of, we're talking about Fiji and the championship. Italy's inclusion over 20 years of the Six Nations was not supposed to lead to a performance like this, right? So, I mean, New Zealand would be New Zealand, and Italy, how they were not motivated, unless they've been aiming for France all along, and this is a dummy. They're fooling us, but I don't think that's the case, right? But what are your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I thought they were actually really good with ball in hand, right? You actually look at the possession stats; they're not that unequal. They just lack the willpower to dig deep on defense. And when you have a New Zealand team's tail up, you just got to fight for 10 minutes to try to stop those tries from happening, and then those 10 minutes might turn into 20. And that's how you just
Mhm.
keep them down. But it's Italy. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna score 5 tries, 4 tries, right? Like it's gonna be a tough night out. But
Mm.
they just didn't let it stop sliding. Like at the end of the day, they
Yeah.
got 3 tries, which is good, right? But it's just only in
Yeah.
comparison to what
We-
it was on the opposite end of the pitch, and they just let everything go through. They just
Yeah.
they sat back, let New Zealand play at them, and there's only going to be one winner if you
Yeah.
let them
Yeah.
just run at
I
you.
mean, there's nothing more, I think, as a rugby player, probably demoralizing, if you want to call it, that when you're 21-0 down to the All Blacks, knowing what mood they're in after
Yeah,
12 minutes, you
for
almost
sure.
know, you almost know they could have easily probably thrown the towel, like many teams have done before.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is they are actually still in the tournament. Like it feels like it's the death of. It doesn't,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't sit right. It doesn't feel right. It should have never happened,
Yeah.
but it did, and it that's again. Are we now? Everyone says New Zealand was just sleeping on New Zealand. Have we given New Zealand false hope again? Have they given? We don't know. I mean, we'll see at the quarterfinals, but very
Yeah.
interesting.
I think maybe Italy knew, obviously, if they want to get through, they need to beat France or New Zealand, both of which are going to be incredibly tough, and New Zealand was their first test. If you don't lose against New Zealand, your next best option is to show that you put up a fight to
Yeah,
make, France worry and second guess and maybe spend too much time over analyzing something
yeah,
in Italy's game
yeah,
or their
yeah,
own, right? But
yeah,
it just seems that as long as France go through the motions and play with a bit of confidence, they'll be all right. So I don't think
yeah,
they've done themselves
yeah,
any
yeah,
real service. As I said, I
yeah,
don't think they were horrible with ball in hand. They attacked the gain line and
yeah.
they managed to get those 3 tries. But defensively, they were a shambles.
Yeah. Argentina, Chile, quick one. I don't spend too much time. I think that's pretty much spot on result. I think that game went according to plan. So Chileans put some points on this time, but yeah, I think that was a standard result. It's all about Argentina, Japan coming up anyway.
For sure. As you said, I think Chile have shown glimmers of potentially what could hopefully then come into future World Cups. I think particularly their first performance versus Japan, but it has been a bit of a rolling from Argentina and England.
Yeah,
But we'll see. They're a very small rugby nation, but I think that's big for Argentina going into the Japan game. They
yeah,
needed to get points on the board, especially with how scrappy their game versus Samoa was.
yeah, yeah,
So that's gonna be massive for them.
yeah. I just quickly see Albert. Thank you for commenting, man. You're talking about the doping thing. We are going to touch on that later. Yeah, we do have to bring that up, unfortunately, because this is a slideshow that we certainly did not need and was probably not necessary. But we'll get to that. And we'll move on to the Fiji Georgia game. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this game. I think when we talk about what competitions took later, I know we say Fiji is a minnow, but Fiji kind of played like how they normally have played. To kind of they played like they were back in their tier 2 vibe. And Georgia I always felt they had a big game in them, and they came and they arrived. So I thoroughly enjoyed this game, but Fiji showed their class in the end, that they got over the line. But yeah, Fiji through. But I think once again, I think we expected that, but probably a few people thought it was going to be a bigger result, right? Bigger points difference there.
Yeah, for sure. I think everyone is just so relieved, right, that they managed to put it over the line. And fair play to Georgia.
My heart's not that set off. I love it that they're there, but there's a lot of people heavily heartily invested into the Fijian side this
I think it's you wouldn't want to see them muck it up. You always feel it's like you want it to be like not an upset if they get knocked out, right? Because they've done so well to get into the position they have. They've beaten big dog Australia, almost Wales, and to a Georgian team that in the previous week drew to Portugal. Like, as a Fiji team, and you want to, people are speaking about potential semi-final in this World Cup, me included, like, you want to be able to put them away, but it did at least show and, give thought to, like, even if you have a bad game, you can still get over the line. So I'm glad they clutched up in the end. And what a offload
Yeah.
by Boche,
Well,
by the way.
yeah,
Jeez.
it just showed where Fiji are. There was probably a time when they wouldn't have done that. They would have, their heads might have dropped them. They were very temperamental, and they kind of showed that in a way that they didn't. It didn't look like they thought they were going to win by arriving, but Georgia certainly arrived, and they just had to dig deep to get that one over the line. And the Council of One Music, a nice name, yeah. Fiji don't like me favorites, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know if they didn't like it, like I said, or did it get to their head or something, because they took them a long time to get into that game, and Georgia were in that fight right to the end. So, yeah, and
definitely a weird psyche thing there. I think, it's the predominantly lesser teams, or like that there, and even Russie tries to harness that, but more in a psychosocial way, that people are out to get us, not because we worship rugby, because they don't want us to win, type of thing. So I think people, it can work both ways, because you can submit to it, like let's say Italy did. They're like, okay, well, we're never going to beat the All Blacks anyway, so why are we going to fight and stop them from scoring their 10th try? Then work the other way as well.
Scotland, Romania, we don't have to go. Yeah, I mean, well, interestingly, Scotland have beaten Romania higher than Ireland and us and South Africa. If you want to put the facts there, but look, pretty much that was around the points that we were all going to probably rack up against Romania. Job done for Scotland, right? The game again. It's all about Saturday.
Yeah,
that's what we're here for.
I mean, offensively, I guess Scotland are probably the most exciting and fluid of those, South Africa and Ireland included, and can just kind of turn it on and score, let's say, weird tries, ones that you
really good tries. Their momentum side, they need to. Yeah, they're not great at chasing. That's what I worry about Ireland. But when they have their tails up, they really build up some really great looking tries.
Yeah, but job done.
Yeah, job done. Yeah, Australia, Portugal. I also enjoyed this game because Portugal were well up for it, and Australia were initially, and were grinding the first half. But I think then by halftime they were getting checked out. I think, and the Portugal were going for it. Love the attitude, love that endeavor. I really enjoyed Portugal in this World Cup, along with Fiji. I've enjoyed Portugal so much. Australia, I mean, God bless. I don't know if we have time to. We don't need to discuss Australia this one. It's just quite funny that they've had to stick around France just to wallow in their pity for they're probably still on holiday. Probably on holiday already. But interesting game. I thought Australia would probably beat them by at least 2 scores more than that, but kudos to Portugal, giving them a good fight.
100%. I mean, Portugal has got to be one of the most outstanding performers of this World Cup, right? I'm so excited for them, hopefully, to continue building on this. They so nearly got that win last weekend versus Georgia, and we were actually watching this game while at the Bok Army event. And jeepers, you would have thought, that green part of Portugal was living large in the box setup with all our green jerseys on. It was a huge Portugal contingent all of a sudden. But no, really great. And I guess
I think Fiji Portugal this week is also going to be a lacquer game to watch. It's going to be a good one.
Much so. And Fiji can't rest on their laurels.
Yeah. And that's actually a nice segue, because we'll go on to the box. Actually, you were there, as you said. Return of the prodigal son, King Pollard returns and does his thing. Does what Pollard does. Look, we were always probably going to have front football. I didn't want to say it last week. It was probably always going to look decent. Let's be honest. Obviously, he gets his kicks. That's what he's there for, right? So, but you were there. Yeah, tell us about. I mean, I think again, expected results. Tonga even getting 18 points is pretty good effort there. Really enjoyed their attitude, enjoyed the camaraderie, enjoyed the atmosphere. I had to rewatch this one on Monday because this old man fell asleep during the game. But what I saw up in the first half, it was good. But I rewatched it, and it all went to plan, didn't it? And tell us how did you think it went?
Yeah, job done. All eyes were on the fly halves, right? The rest of the positions were largely, very predictable. And it was exactly that. I'm really glad that Pollard could come back for this type of game. I still don't think he'll start in the knockout games. I think he'll be off the bench, but yes, he'll be there for probably his kicking. But you still need to have the ball in hand come the 65th minute onwards, right? And he needed that game time. He needed to show what he could do, and thank goodness he's like knocking over kicks, and as did Money, right? Like the stadium, or at least the Bok contingent, were lapping it up. It was just it was like everything, as I'm sure it was for the New Zealand game, right? Because there were the worries, and then he goes 100%, and then there's 50, and then 100%.
Yeah, I don't want to be too harsh on Pollard. I want him to do it. It's only going to be good for us if he's if he's doing his thing, and he did. And I watched him. He looked good. He looked fluid. He looked fresh. He looked right. He looks ready to go. Good, like for me, as long as both of them are in the 23, I feel comfortable. I mean, Pollard has to, if it's going to be one or the other. If Pollard's, you just feel that Nienaber's going to go with Pollard for World Cup knockout rugby, right? I don't know. Even though I still feel, you think he's gonna? Yeah. Well, we're gonna. I wanted to go. So before I want to go into who we think is going to play in the quarterfinal. Or we assuming we are going to be in the quarterfinal, right? But just to finish off the Tongas, anyone else in the Tonga? Any comments on the Tonga guys, the players? Anyone that stuck out for you? I think Moody had a much better game than his previous outing against Romania.
Yeah.
Esther, for me, Esther, it's such a pity that he's got Didier in front of him because he's super awesome. Yeah, we got any other comments on the guys?
Yeah, I think Ken had a really good game. Again, I think he, as a wing, he didn't even have to pass, so I think still learning how to offload a little bit more. But I mean, he's such a good finisher that he kind of gets away with it. I really enjoyed watching Reinach. He's been electric. He's had a really great World Cup. He actually has moved what everyone assumed was our fourth choice to seems like our second now, which has been actually something that I don't think many would have predicted. Mr. Chris,
I'm going to say this again. He's been our best scrum of the last 5 years. But Faf's just the way Faf plays. I'm not saying, I love Reinach. I love Faf as well, but I think Reinach adds just a little bit more value.
Yeah, I think it's especially if we're going 6-2 with Pollard as the extra. Everyone says that Reinach Pollard connection works, right? They've played club rugby together overseas, so it'll be interesting with the 6-2, or assuming Pollard makes our bench, or unless Pollard starts. Let's just assume that, because there's so many possibilities. I imagine he's still going to be our second choice, unless they're bringing in Grant Williams for extra cover on the wing. But otherwise, Tongan captain, their bigger prop. Oh, he was phenomenal. And they showed real fight, and I mean, you could feel the physicality from the stands, and I wasn't on the touchline. Let me tell you, it was a tough encounter.
Yeah, no, it was a good, it was a great game there.
Really sad for Makazole, by the way.
That is crap. That's not a nice one for him.
It feels a bit like Spoon Corsi at the last World Cup, where it's like you're not getting dropped because you're a bad player. It's just unfortunate that there's so much depth that you aren't making the team.
Well, and it's not. And I love Mapimps, and I want him to be there, and I hope he could have been there, right? But it's just like we said, Mark's going down felt like a big gut punch, right? Like a big Unfortunately, with Pimps, we have so much great cover in that position, so it's so sad for him, but not the biggest issue for the Springboks, right?
For the player than what the outcome might be for the Boks,
because he's stuck around. I mean, he hasn't been, the starting choice for a while, but he's still been around. He's still fighting, and that's why we all love and respect what that guy does. I think that's a good segue. Obviously the Boks aren't playing this weekend, but we have the return of Lucky Lakwaya is back in the fold, and there's some rumors that he might even be featuring on the match
Really?
day. Yeah, there's been talk of that. And he might go in. I don't. I don't know what to make of that because I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't think he was playing great rugby before that injury. I know he's a great player and he's done amazing. I just don't even think he was our first choice 13 even before he got injured. So for me, my pecking order is still Moody at 13 and Creel next up. But if he comes in, what do you think's going to happen?
I don't think now it's happened. I think too late. Whereas Pollard happened, they could give him the game versus Tonga, right? There are no games we are now given. It's quarterfinal versus the host nation, a semi-final, and in a final. You know, like these are not
Oh, I think we've lost
testing
Scotty.
ground. Sorry.
Oh no, it could be me. I think we're back. Are you back?
I've got you loud and clear. Just let
Yeah,
us
I
know.
lost. I think I lost you. It's good. It's good. Carry
Cool.
on, carry on,
No,
mate. Yeah,
I was just saying, we're in the knockout stage now. This is no testing ground
I
for
agree. Yeah,
what might or may not work. Creel, although hasn't necessarily shown the form that he had in the build-up to the World Cup, has still been good enough, I think, to hold his place. And again, I don't think they're going to be changing much. And if
I,
not, like
I,
Moody's good enough to be there, and he's
yeah,
more versatile. He can play better at that and wing. Lukhanyo's there. I think if there's something that goes wrong, he can slip in. And rather that than a promising 13, but doesn't know the structure of the box,
but
he knows everything, like the back of his hand, and he can put in, let's say, a 75% performance. And that's fine if we really require it later on in the tournament. Maybe he plays
yeah,
the semi-final or final, but it's more based off his knowledge of the Springboks than I think the
I,
assumption that he's going to be a
I,
shock.
I agree. I think it will be a massive risk to play him straight away in a World Cup quarterfinal. I think it'll be a stupid decision. Okay, if you're going to bring him in, you're not going to play him. Well, you haven't. Then what you brought him? It seems like they maybe brought him in just because it is Arm and he's experienced and he's been there, and that's a great person to have in the squad. It looks like the guys like him and love him. I agree. I would be. I'm don't shoot the messenger. It's just what I was reading while I was preparing for the show. But I don't see him being a part of that match day squad. I think quarterfinal when he hasn't played. How can you take that risk? I don't think it's feasible at all.
Yeah. There are just certain decisions that you feel are more likely to rock the boat than they are to bring a bigger influence to it. And it's not like everyone is speaking about this real gap that we have at 13, like people might be more speaking about at our reserve hooker position, right? No
Yeah,
one's speaking of it in that way. It's not a problem that he's solving, much like we don't have at wing. You know, when Makazole went missing, it's not like an alarming issue. So
yeah,
advisory role, but he's there if need be, and he can slot in, and people will have full belief in what he can do, and maybe just a slight worry on
yeah.
what he can produce on just from
Yeah.
more of his point of view, I guess.
Yeah, well, this topic has brought up some comments, fired up some comments. Arm class is permanent from Albert. He could go to wing. Creel not a natural wing, so he needs to be 13. Didn't say we won't tamper with the first team, and no way he makes the squad. Echo in that one. Rusty did say he might go in the semi. Okay, so let's not take the risk in the quarter. Let's take the risk at the semi. Sounds good. Because for me, if you're gonna bring him, you got to play him at some point, right?
Yeah,
And Carter Arm is one of the smartest. Yeah, we know he's smart, but if he's got no knee and no form, like that 13 position, he's going to get eaten alive. France are going to eat him alive if he's not on his best
yeah.
game.
He definitely can't play. He definitely. I'll be shocked if he plays in the quarterfinal versus France.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that we get through that. Like on paper, the opposition will be worse than France, and that's maybe where we'll see him. But again, and also because he would have had more time to recover, obviously a whole extra week.
yeah,
But it would still be surprising if he makes a match day
yeah,
squad to me,
yeah,
unless something happens, another injury. Like we only have 2 reserves on the bench,
yeah.
at most. We haven't seen a
Okay.
5-3 split in the box for a very long time. And unless we are willing to ditch the bomb squad now because of also because of Malcolm Marx. Maybe that's a part of the discussion.
Well, Mark says this. I've been saying that we can also he's so crucial to just the team and dynamic in general, from one to bomb squad, and I think he's a big factor. Do you see any other surprises? I really don't like counting our chickens before they hatched. Yeah, but talking about a quarterfinal. But do you sense any other surprises? Any else that might come in? Maybe Dwayne Vermeulen, Lisa. I think the starting. I think that the first team in inverted commas, if you want to call it, is pretty set. I think we pretty much know who that starts in 15, except you call in LeBook. If we get to quarterfinal, LeBook starting at 10, not the other way around. Start Handre, hopefully build up some lead, and LeBook.
I still think LeBook starts at 10. That's what I think they'll pick, and what I hope they'll pick. And I think probably the one that's most not confusing, but up in the air would be, I think, Vermeulen Visa, because I really think that Dwayne brings a lot of experience in the latter half of the game, and I think is now was a player that used to play the full 80 and now doesn't have the legs, but his presence on the field, particularly, as I said, in the latter half of the game, I think he's a better captain than an influence on the players, and has a bit calmer than maybe Bongi. Not that Bongi isn't good, I just think that he's a bit more of a been there, done it, and so I don't know who he necessarily replaces on the bench, but I think I can't imagine Dwayne. It's going back to those people who have performed on the biggest stages over and over again. You're talking about the guy who got the man of the match at the World Cup final. He's a big time player. He knows how to get it done. I think he's going to be on the bench. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure who exactly he is that he'll be replacing.
All right, I think let's wait for the weekend, and that will this also segues quite nicely into what the hell's going on here, Scotty. Hey,
listen,
is this real? Is this happening?
Sharing a croissant.
Are they sharing? They look like they're having a nice friendly chat, about life and their partners and where they're going to go on holiday after the World Cup. No, that's the only stuff they're talking about here, right?
How to make sure that they are both have a bonus point and they win, and that Scotland wins by 8, something that's never been done before. That Scotland have never won, by more than, I think, 7 since 2001. But this weekend.
But I think we can, guys. I think we know that this pitch is old, Scotty. I think this is not the latest. It's good fun.
Unless Andy Farrell can grow a beard, faster than any known human being before. I think it's been told that it is. So nobody worry in the conversation.
well, let's lead in. Let's lead into the big game, barring the Japan Odge game. This is the marquee game, isn't it? This is the big game of the weekend. So here's the Irish team. Said I don't think pretty much that's full strength, right? That's the team that ran out against us, I believe.
Yeah, I think it
pretty
is.
much. You have to go full strength. So any comments there on the team? Obviously I think we expected this, right? It's a must-win game.
I don't think Dan Sheehan started against us.
No, he didn't. No, they were calling for him. Yeah, that's right.
So it's full strength, and Ireland have gone full strength pretty much every single game. And they've been one of the only teams not to be rocked by injuries or major concerns. So again, firing. They're gonna want to take some confidence. I think that they get the job done. But who knows? So it should be a cracking game.
Yeah, so exactly. I mean, what's your prediction? Yeah, I just don't see anything less than an Ireland between 10 and 20 point win. Probably, I think classes that Irish team has got two. They're just too good. Scotland are good as well, but I mean, as we talked, they've got I love their back line. Everyone who knows me knows I love you, Jones, too much. But yeah, we just spoke about Hamish Watson not even making the side. They're going for a bit more. They're going for a 6-2 split, and it looks like they're going to go for one last hurrah in the last 20 with a power game there. With the reserves they've called there. But I mean, I love Scotland. I just think where Ireland are, what they've got to lose if they lose this game, they're going to be switched on. I mean, Scotland might run them close for a while, like they did at Murrayfield. I think it was this season at Murrayfield where they were running them pretty close for a while. But Ireland went to the next gear and Tel Aviv, Scotland, and that was it. I think the same thing will happen.
For sure. I think at the end of the day, a lot more things have to go right for Scotland for them to get a result out of this than Ireland need to go through the paces and play well. Of course, they need to play well. This is no walk in the park versus a tier 2 nation. This is a Scotland team, which is going into the World Cup, we're saying 5th in the world, right? So by that logic, they were at least making the quarterfinals and probably the semis if the draw was done maybe a little more equitably. But yeah, a strong team on both sides. I really, it's that Irish front pack is it's incredibly strong. We saw what they uphold a 7-1 South African split, and they managed to do that and hold us out there. So 6-2, I think maybe they're trying to bolster that. Maybe try to win a couple more penalties. Finn Russell's going to have to kick everything over. And they're going to have that back line, which is it's such an exciting back line. I really love watching them. They're amazing. I'd love to see them in this. I mean, it is a knockout game, right? At the end of the day, but it doesn't have that same feeling in the air. You say group stage compared to quarterfinal, but at the end of the day, let's call it a round of 16 because it is that. I don't think Ireland by that many though. To be honest, I think less than 10.
Oh yeah, okay. But yeah,
Ireland by 8.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, and comments also on Jamie Ritchie as captain. There's some talk that he could be even the Lions captain come Australia time. He's been quite inspirational captain for them. I really also enjoyed his attitude. It doesn't look like a big physical, exteriorly, but obviously he's got the heart of a lion like all these guys do. But I really enjoyed him. He's captain in this side.
For sure. He gets behind. I think people gravitate towards him. It seems like a very close-knit team. They clearly respect him. I guess the Lions pick was whether he will be the Lions starting 6 come the next tour, or if he's that big enough of a figure that it warrants his pick over any other 6 that would challenge him. But no, he's quality, and I think kudos to this Scotland team where previously maybe it felt like a handful of players, maybe 3-4 really star players were pulling them through. This feels like a really strong team, which you couldn't always say about.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of talk that this is actually quite hard for Scotland, isn't it? Because there's a lot of talk about the group that's coming through. Their age group teams are not strong at all, and this is probably one of the strongest Scottish sides. You could probably say the side was stronger than their last Grand Slam winning one back in 1990. And this team would be finishing top of those other pools with no doubt. They'll be top of the pool
for sure.
And going, it's just so it's gut wrenching. It's gut wrenching for them that this has happened to them. With this team deserve better. Hey, they beat Scotland. They beat Ireland.
Yeah, 100%.
Imagine, eh? Yeah.
World Cups are not places for what teams should deserve or should get. It's about what you earn on the pitch. So nothing that would make me happier than Scotland getting through the quarter.
Yeah, but I'm 98. I'm 99. Yeah, I'm 98.999% sure that Ireland are not going to lose this game. I just can't. I think it's just too much. Anyway, we can move on to before we go there, I want to go into the betting. Betting said with Boyles and myself, we've been running this betting segment for the last 6 months, and we've been cruising on pretty all right. Actually, we're on to about 12 winning selections out of 13, if you include the leans, which don't get added to this record, but quite nice to mention that we're on quite a run there. And last week we had Fiji, Georgia second half on with Argentina, Chile second half, highest scoring double at a nice price. And that was pretty comfortable in there. I was calling it Fiji, tight game. Second half's Fiji are quite solid. And I thought Argentina, Chile Argentina started hot, and then we had a nice quiet 20 minutes, which was what the bet needed, because cooled down the first half scoring, and then obviously Argentina got too strong in the second half, and Chile got some points. So, hey, we over the line again there, and we up to a cool 26.26 units profit at 64% return on investment. So, yeah, pretty chuffed with that record. If you guys are following, to say we're using BOYLESPORTS as our odds quota, a bookmaker of choice, obviously sponsoring us in this campaign, and we're very grateful. So please, if you want to join Boyles, click on the link in the comments, and you'll get a sign up bonus, nice R1,000 welcome sign up bonus. And I'll be honest, as knowing South African bookies, some of the best odds are on Boyles for rugby at the moment. They're giving some good value there. So take a look if you are into it. And this week, it just we're going from, I've called Ireland win here. I really don't see Ireland not winning this game. An Ireland win with France and Italy as the highest scoring, the second half being the highest scoring half there, because I anticipate a hot Italian start, and I think France are pretty solid anyway at home on defense. I think Italy keep this tight. Italy are quite a notorious good first half team actually for punting. So I think Italy have got a lot to prove. This is their last chance saloon to prove that they're any good for any reason. So let them have a good first half, and then I think the second half we'll see some more points come in there. So the doubles at about just over even 3 units. We're getting a little bit more juicy on the units because we've got some profit to play with there. So that's the double for the week. But Scotty, let's go on to the final week for the World Cup this year. Starting on Pool A and the scenarios. Obviously, New Zealand play Uruguay this evening in 20 minutes time. So I'm sure some people got one eye on the build up there. France play Italy tomorrow. It is. New Zealand win, obviously they're through. Probably expect them to be through, and then almost basically a winner takes all between France and Italy. So if Italy win, they do go through because France didn't get that bonus point they needed. So yeah, what's your predictions? I think we know New Zealand are going to be pretty all right tonight. What's your prediction with France and Italy?
I think France, very simple winners. They've put out a very strong team for it. I don't see Italy causing them troubles.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they just haven't shown enough to excite me against the big teams. But I'd love to be proven wrong. There's nothing more than I love being proven wrong when hedging my bet on a big team.
Do you have a score prediction?
Let's say France by 30 at a canter.
Oh wow! See, this is the type of game I see Italy up for it and actually getting some of their basics right here. And I think they're giving France a little bit of a rough ride. I think France will be comfortable in the end, but bookies I think got over 20 or just under 20 points. I would say that's about right. But I think it could be like 15 points. I think it could be like a France 15 points win, yeah.
Listen, the French will be nervous, hey? They'll be nervous because there's talent in that Italian team. There's real talent, and there's promise in some of their players. It's just
but it's gonna be France. What France arrives at the end of the day. Like if France are coming in and a little bit green, a little bit cold, and Italy up for it, France can make this a long day for themselves. But if they come in focused, they should win comfortably, right?
If Italy managed to almost get a try and then almost pull like an England versus Argentina, just almost starts just dropping 3 points, and then cynical mistake after cynical mistakes, that they like if they can put on some scoreboard pressure, maybe we'll see it get interesting. But I just think even if that happens, they should get it comfortable into the game and put them away. There's just too much talent there for me in the French team.
Yeah. We'll move on to Pool B. We've discussed this already. I've put the pools in the orders of pools. What we discussed, Scotland and Ireland, basically. Yeah, Scotland need to win by 8, right? 8 or more to go through. Some other scenarios, but I think let's focus on Scotland actually managing to win by more than 8. Not going to happen, but yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I just think even if they're winning by 8 with then both teams having to get a bonus point, we're talking some radical numbers. And to be fair, if that's how the Bulls get knocked out of the World Cup, it would be the best way to see it happen.
Yeah. All right, Pool C. This is juicy. I say, I've enjoyed this pool actually. This will be one of the better pools to follow.
So good.
Yeah. So Fiji, basically, Fiji go through. Obviously, we know that. I think it's going to be a fun game though. So, like we said, I think it's going to be a good fun game to watch. But maybe I wouldn't be surprised if Fiji drop it now. That would probably be very typical Fiji. But I think they're too good at this stage. They just got to focus. I think they kind of got a lot to say about their coach and their captain at that moment. I was at the Twickenham game and I was so impressed with the attitude and with the guys at the press conference and the players. They just again, culture. Like England looked like they were in hell, and then Fiji looked like they were having the best time of their life. And you could just see that filter through, even like when you got close to them. So don't see any issues there. What could be interesting is Wales-Georgia, because this is a game Wales love to, I'm going to use the F around in. They're going to probably win, but I have a feeling that all Georgia are going to make this Wales team sweat a little bit. Wales will go through. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't... Wales have...
Well, Wales are through though, anyway, right?
Wales are through. They're fine. They don't need to
but the thing is, I'm just thinking now. I'm also putting my Panthers hat here. I don't think this. What I'm saying is, I don't think this is a foregone conclusion. Wales, nice big win. That's my point.
And to be fair, I don't think either of the games are like.
Yeah.
I don't want to put my what's going to be great at Fiji, Portugal. You're looking at two teams that like. Well, Portugal at least have shown this World Cup, and Fiji just reputationally play like they have nothing to lose, and they just go hammer and tong, and throw themselves at everything, and they're not afraid to do that, which is just going to set itself in an amazing game. I think Fiji will pull it off, and I'd love them to, but Portugal are not. They never have been backing down. They try to run it from their own 22 versus Wales versus Australia. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I think Wales, Georgia. Thank goodness Georgia showed the fight that they did against Fiji, and at least that Wales know now that they're still not going to have to bring an A game to beat them. It's not just a fact of maybe Georgia being that horrible, although I don't think they've been good. It's also just Portugal have been decent, as Wales also found out. Remember, Wales also had a bit of a testing game versus Portugal. Portugal have actually been one of the stand-up teams of this entire tournament.
Yeah, I agree. Let's actually go to the final pool, because this what happens here will obviously ultimately predict will make what the quarterfinals are going to be. England, Samoa, as we know, England are. I think they're as good as top. I believe.
And welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. My name's Wes, and you might notice the quality of the image being a little bit dodgy on the YouTube channel if you are watching the stream, but please do forgive us. Again, I'm coming to you live from the Okavango Delta. We are asking a lot of this Wi-Fi, but great to have you here regardless for this clash between France, the host nation, obviously, and Italy. The last pool game for these two teams, and what a matchup it's going to be. I see lots of comments in the chat, a lot of support for Italy. So guys, get involved. It's fantastic. Thank you so much for commenting. If you haven't already, make sure you smash a like button on the video. It really helps get the video out to people who are looking for commentary of the game. It lets people know that this is a legit stream and that you guys are enjoying it. So 18 of you beautiful subscribers and such have already liked the video. So please make sure you are subscribed to the channel and hitting that like button as well. So we can see Connor Crowley in the chat there saying, come on, Italy. Nathan Barnes raising interesting points there about the way New Zealand are playing. I think South Africa would prefer to play France if they finish second in the group. We'll have to see how France play tonight. And then Dayala, great to have you here. Amor, but I love green. Italy is so passionate. No. Oh, it's a wonderful tournament. It's great, Dayala. We're glad you are enjoying it just as much as we are. And we are pretty stoked to bring you all the coverage of the Rugby World Cup, every single game. So the biggest sort of coverage of any rugby tournament on YouTube in the history of YouTube. So we're really, really proud here at Forever Sports to be able to bring that to you. So thank you very much for joining us here. Once again, like, subscribe, and look at becoming a channel member possibly, guys. Also get involved in the chat. Let me know where you're coming in from. As I said, I'm streaming in from the Okavango Delta in Botswana. So it'd be lovely to read and engage with you guys as to where you're coming in from tonight. It would be fantastic to hear. But we are going to start looking then over to the game, which is going to get underway in just over 10 minutes. Not long now until we do get kicked off. So obviously between France and Italy. And I think, the French definitely clear favourites to take the win and sort of clear out, close out their pool games, winning all 4 games, which would be fantastic for the host nation and putting them top of the group pretty much. And I believe New Zealand's win last night with a bonus point secured their spot in the quarterfinals. It's just a matter of where, and I'm pretty much sure it's going to be second place. Chat Sports evening, mate. Glad to have you here with us. Yeah, great to have you all here. We're going to quickly go through the sides, and we're going to have a quick chat about them and see what we think. I'm pretty sure that Italy's gone out and put one of the strongest sides they had, and why not? It's their last pool game, and there's pretty much no way that they can get through. So you want to give everyone a run out that you can. And I think for Italy, more than the possibility of trying to get out, obviously, which they can't in the pools, it's more about just putting on a good performance and showing what Italian rugby can do. I think everyone was a little disappointed potentially. Well, I say that they were playing good rugby for the first opening pool games, and then I think everyone was hoping for a bit more. I know some of the Forever Sports channel members were really backing Italy in that game against New Zealand, and potentially quite shocked at just how New Zealand manhandled them. So I think everyone was a bit disappointed with that. So they'll be looking tonight, the Italian side, to come out against a very strong French side, obviously at home, and make a statement and see what they can put down. Obviously, the French will be looking to just do what the French do at the moment. I mean, they're in form, and they'll be looking to have a good final pool game, right? It's all about momentum at this point, right? What can you iron out before going into the playoff games and taking through that confidence? So they'll be looking, even though they're guaranteed a spot through, you want to go through on a good foot. You want to go through with good momentum. You want to be able to take that into the playoff games. And what a set of playoff games they're going to be. But we're pretty much sure, South Africa and Ireland are through in sort of that group, and New Zealand and France are through in that group. And that is just going to be unbelievable. Crazy that only 2 of those sides will then progress onto the semi-finals. So very, very, very interesting. But as I said, let's have a quick then skim through the side. So starting with the Italian side, we've got number 1, Simon Ferrari, and number 2, Hama Favia. And then joining them and closing out the tight 3 there, the front row, is Pietro Ceccarelli. So I do think Ferrari and Favia have both had fantastic tournaments. They've names that sort of have come up quite often in the commentary box here, as well as when watching on other platforms. You often see them putting in great work or efforts. I've not seen too much of number 3, Pietro, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets involved tonight. And then obviously, again, the 2 sort of powerhouses of the tight 5 there, sort of Nicolo Canone and Federico Rusa. Again, 2 players who you're constantly hearing from on the commentary side and seeing rather with carry the ball and make strong carries. So they'll be looking to put on a big performance and hopefully secure a lot of line-out ball tonight for their side. Then moving to the loose trio, Sebastian Negri, Michel Lamaro, the captain, and Lorenzo Canone. Again, all gentlemen with very high work rates and big engines on them, so all looking to put in a big shift. We move to the back line then, and Stefan Varney and Tommaso Alan again. So that combination will be key. Montana Ione, obviously on the one wing, and Pierre Bruno, so 11 and 14. They'll be looking for big performances, and they'll have their hands busy, given who their opposite numbers are, who we'll get to a bit. The centers as well, we know Gabrizi can be quite dangerous, so can Ignacio Brex. So, these players, we know they know how to penetrate defensive line. We know they know how to find the try line. I think they just really struggled when they came up against a quality side like New Zealand. And this is the thing, you can never write New Zealand off. Everyone's saying, oh, they're nothing, this is Z Group exit. But New Zealand are a quality outfit, no matter who they put on the field. I don't think it's the same case as Australia. I think New Zealand's pedigree is a lot higher. These guys, it's just in a different league. So never write them off. And I think they put a pretty strong performance last week against Italy. And then finally, rounding out the starting 15 for Italy, obviously, is Ange Capuzzo. And again, we know how electric and exciting he can be. So looking forward to maybe seeing Ange get some ball in hand and maybe potentially breaking a few French hearts. As a South African supporter, thinking France at home. Do you want to play France at home, or do you want to play, potentially not fully functioning New Zealand side, but a decent New Zealand side? So very, very tough stuff. Looking quickly at the bench then, 16, Marco Manfredi, 17, Federico Zanni, 18, Marco Ricconi, 19 is Sissi, 20, Manuel Zuliani, 21, Alessandro Fusco, 22, Luca Monsi, and 23, Lorenzo Panni. So we will have to see what impact the bench players can make tonight. And as we said, they're coming up against a pretty strong French side. I mean, this is looking almost, if not full strength. It's kind of the recognition that this is the final run out for the side. They want to get everyone a good hit in. They want to make sure that they secure that top of the pool finish. And I think this is definitely the team to do it. So I'd be very curious to get your guys' thoughts on this French side and maybe the thinking behind it. Obviously, you never want to think about injuries, and you hope they don't occur. But in the back of every coach's mind, you've got to be, just really hoping that in this final game that nothing happens. But I think the more you gain from it, rather, the benefits you gain, the having your players run out and put in a good performance outweighs that risk. So let's have a look then at the French side. So number 1, Cyril Bell. Number 2, Pietro Maubaka. Number 3, Wanini Antonio, obviously a powerhouse. What can he bring? Number 4, the mobile Cameron Woki. I think he's the definition of a lock with an engine just all over the place. Very, very, he reminds me very much of a Franco Mostert. He is a lock. Mostert, you can argue about maybe being a flank first, but Woki is just incredible with skill set as well as his work rate and his speed. At number 5, then Thibaut Flamen. 6, Anthony Jelonch. 7 is going to be captain for tonight, Charles Olivon. Again, number 8 then at Gregory Aldred. So a very strong, loose trio there. Obviously Aldred and Olivon also just, so lethal. Looking then at the replacement, obviously for the injured Anton Dupont is Maxon Luku. But again, he was fantastic, I thought, against the previous opposition these guys played against. Luku was everywhere. Number 10, Matej Jalibert. Jalibert again had a fantastic tournament. I think having to step up, replace the injured Intermac. I think he's done a fantastic job. Number 11, then Louis Bella Barry. 12 is obviously the Jonathan Dante. What a runner he can be. So he'll be looking to have a big night tonight. Pairing up with him is obviously Gail Fiku. Number 14, then Damien Pinot. And number 15, Thomas Ramos. So if you look at your back three, Abiel Barry, Damien Pinot, and Thomas Ramos, again, full strength to me. And your centers, Dante and Fiku, France aren't messing around. They're not just coming here to try and squeak out a win. They are coming here to put in a really dominant performance. So running through the bench then quickly, because we've just got under 4 minutes to go before we kick off. 16 is Pierre Bogart. 17 is Radau Wardi. 18, Dorian Eldechi. 19, Roman Taufifenua. 20 is Francis Cross. 21, Baptiste Colliot. 22, Yoram Moafana. And 23, Melvin Jaminet. So, as I said, very, very strong French side that we will have to look what they can do, guys. So please get involved in those chats. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, as well as, getting involved in the chat there. Let me know, what do we think? Fantastic. We've got over 250 votes in the polls. So you guys are letting me know who you think is going to come out on top. But it would be great to potentially get some score predictions in. All right, what do we think? What do we think? What do we think? So Petras, how's it? Welcome to the chat there, saying ciao, ciao, Italia. Petras, let's get some score predictions. I think in my SUPERBRU, I did favor France by quite a bit. I don't know. I mean, Italy, again, will try come out with the heart. They tried to do that against New Zealand. I think they just let the occasion get a bit too big for them. I think tonight, potentially a similar thing. France just a quality outfit. So I think I did say the French by at least 45. I think that was the score margin I went with. There, we will have to see. The Italians will be doing their best, obviously, to not let that happen. But I think it's going to be something else. Alan, fantastic, Alan Robinson, to have you in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Expecting a stellar performance from France, says Alan. I think we saw a decent performance against New Zealand, and then personally, I can't really remember much of a. I can't remember looking at this French side and going, my goodness, they look like world champs. They've had good performances, but I think tonight they will really be looking to potentially put on a performance that makes everyone step back a bit and go, okay, these guys are here to win it. Petros, you're an absolute legend. Petros is saying 47 to 7 points. Yeah, so a margin of about 40 there. I think that's probably bang on. Be interesting to see that. And France is going to own the stadium. Yeah, it's going to be quite something. We can see the anthems going here. The French anthem must have been absolutely amazing. The Italian anthem now underway, just under 2 minutes before we get to kickoff for the final pool game between these two nations. It is the final week and weekend of the pool and playoff games. Can we believe it? So much has been said about this World Cup, so much leading up to it. And we're finally here. And now we're getting to the, I wouldn't call them the interesting stages, because I really enjoy pool play. I know some people in the chat have previously said they don't particularly enjoy it. They don't particularly enjoy seeing the sort of emerging rugby nation tier 2 single game. So anthems are done, and we are going to get kickoff underway. And while we wait for kickoff, guys, just a massive shout out again to all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. And a huge thank you to our channel sponsors. So you guys know that we are brought to you. If you don't know, you'll know now and definitely by the end of the stream. But we're brought to you by BITDEFENDER as well as BOYLESPORTS. So BITDEFENDER specializing in cybersecurity. So if you are interested in partnering with a global leader in cybersecurity who is committed to defending all your personal and digital data from cyber attacks, and transform to improve your digital experience, please go check out BitDefender's link in the description. Petros there saying, loving those national anthems, both countries, so flairful. Absolutely. You could see the passion. These guys are here to play. They love their rugby. So glad they sorted out the anthem issue. I mean, if we cast our minds back to the first week and how contentious so please, if you are feeling up to it, go give Petros a bit of competition there. But if you like Petros and you think potentially you know what's going to happen, go check out BOYLESPORTS' link description in the channel down below, because they will match you up to R1,000 for your first bet. So sign up using our link, deposit up to $1,000 or deposit more, but BOYLESPORTS will match you up to R1,000, and see if you can make some money potentially. If you've been following along with Chris Rowe on our pro tips, he's been having a pretty good time and making the gents who have been following along with him quite a bit of money. So good on Chris, and then go check out his pro tips. Guys, at some point, maybe you might be alarmed that you don't see me. I probably at that point won't just turn my camera off, to be honest. Better that you hear me more than see me. I know you'll potentially be watching the rugby as opposed to watching me, so I want to make sure you can hear the commentary. I know lots of you tuning in without access to the game, so I'd rather you be able to hear me clearly as opposed to having some really dodgy video of me. Okay, Carl Dixon, the Englishman, is the referee for this game, and we'll see how Carl do. I think the refereeing has been quite consistent. Now hear me out. The refereeing has been consistent, not the bunker system. But anyway, we are underway here. France playing from right to left in their classic navy blue shirts. The Italians in their white kit, and they are deep in their 22, looking to run it up a bit, maybe potentially make some ground, give some meters and some breathing space. It does go back to Alain, who hoists it upfield, but doesn't find touch. Instead, he finds Thomas Ramos, who now looks to run it back. He takes it to the right-hand side, switches inside with Luku. Luku then off to Gregory Aldred. Big, strong run from him. Luku then at the base, out to his men again. Ramos there playing sort of first receiver. Ramos again at first receiver. Now out the back to Jalibert. Jalibert then onto the fickle number 11 there. Difficult to take down in Biel Barry. So Luku then out to the right. Big, strong run from Cyril Bale, but well met by the Italian defense. Looking good so far. But here come the French. Aldrich getting around one and taking a few with him. Luku out to the right, almost all the way to the right-hand touchline. Jalibert taking it into contact. Now Luku brings it back to the left-hand side. France playing with good pace here. They look clinical now. No sort of bobbles there. Nice little pick and go, though, from Maovaka. We know what a mobile hooker he is. And so dangerous with his skill set. Luku caught a bit in space there. No real options. Taken down eventually. So still in the Italian half. Good discipline by the Italians not to give away a penalty. And literally, as I said that, the Italian falls on the wrong side. But no penalty, says Carl Dixon. Here goes Olivon, driven on by his number 6, Anthony Gelonch. Here, Woki, nice little offload from him. Good hands. Here come France. That's sure and try. Absolutely. David Pinot, thank you very much. Fancy team. So France score a try. They penetrate the defense within the 2 minutes. That is quite lethal stuff. You felt like the Italian defense was doing a good job. And then all of a sudden, again, I think you've got to attribute that try to Cameron Woki there, sort of making something out of nothing. And then all of a sudden, there was a 3-on-1, and it was good hands, I think, from Ramos to Pinot, and quite an easy try in the end. But again, the French making and breaking the first tackles. Again, Malvaca just picking and going around the side. Is just absolutely incredible. So good work from Damien Pinot there. 2 minutes. First points on the board. 5-0 to the French. Right, Ramos lines up to kick to the left-hand side. Curls it nicely back in, and the conversion is good. So 7 points to nothing. France, the first to draw blood in this game. Good work by the French. Right, Italy are going to have to dig deep for this one. It's either going to be it's going to be a very long night either way, but I'm sure you would potentially prefer to get the ball in your hands. So early possession by the French here. What can the Italians do? They kick it down directly into Jalibert's arms, steps around one, and a good clearance kick. And again, potentially you can attribute, maybe not entirely, but you can largely attribute that try to not exiting their 22 well, right? They had the opportunity, but who was it? It was Alain, I think, who didn't find touch, allowing the French to then just not counter, but just to attack, which was tough stuff. Right, Ruza looking like potentially the target, a short 4-man lineouts. Nope, but the Italians don't find it, so it is now in the French hands, not doing themselves any favors. The French start to go wide. Aldrich eventually takes it up straight center field. A little pick and go by Gelonch out to Luku. Luku then to Dante, but driven back strongly in the tackle by the Italian number 1. So good work from the Italian defense. Quick hands there, a bit too quick out the back. I think Ramos just trying to slow things down, hacking it upfield. Ange Capuzzo at the back to collect. He's got time, he's got space, having a look up. Decides he wants none of that and hoists it downfield again. Doesn't find touch. RPG there giving a bit of a score prediction, 82 points to 10. It's quite a big margin there. RPG might not be far off with how quickly the French scored their first try. A little bit of kick tennis going on here, back and forth, trying to win. And everyone pretty much just standing completely still in the field. And all the forwards just kind of putting their hands up. Right, now might be 50-22 is on, but not quite finding the corner. If this is going to go all the way out, and it does, they're just potentially being a little bit greedy there, looking for too much. And but we do come back from a penalty, 2 white. So the Italians, that's really fortunate for the French and really harsh on the Italians. Again, best that the forwards just absolutely stand still when those balls are being kicked back and forth and not to make any sort of advance. We know that the refs are blowing that immediately. I mean, even if you're nowhere near the player and you just start moving the direction, we've seen refs give that away. Chat Sport, they're saying 76-26 to France. So Chat Sport expecting the Italians to get some decent points on. 26 points is no mean feat against the French. So Chat Sport, we'll have to see if you're correct. Alan Robinson is saying France by 50. Yeah, I think that's where I was. I was by about 45. So we'll see what they can do. So interesting here, the French are going for sort of the smart decision, you could say, generally in Test rugby. I think with Thomas Ramos, with the boot that he's got and the form that he's in, it's almost a guaranteed 3 points. But interesting that the French wouldn't go for the corner. Riri, they're just saying, someone please explain the penalty. So Riri, if you were watching or listening along, the French and the Italians basically kicking the ball back and forth. And one of the Italian players, I believe it was number 2, if you were in front of the kicker, which he definitely would have been, the forwards were in the midfield and these guys were basically in their 22s. The ball was getting picked back and forth. And you cannot make any advance towards the ball if the guy who's kicked it or someone from behind him hasn't put you on side. So they haven't run in front of you. And so 2 was clearly deemed to have, sort of come forward and starting to put pressure on the receiver, which they're in an offside position to do so. So they restrict that. Now, I didn't see it actually, I wasn't focusing on that aspect. Clearly that call either came from the assistant referees on the sideline or potentially TMO, but I did think it was quite a harsh call. But really, I hope that makes sense. If not, we can give it a go. Right, so we get underway. The French are in at 22. Luku boxes, doesn't find touch, but a good completable kick. And it is messy. There is a knock on. So excellent work from the French. So again, the kick in a good contestable position. Ange Kaput's not able to collect. I do believe it was number 11, Louis Belibari, just making a bit of a hazard for himself. And Ange Kaput's getting knocked in the air, not being able to collect, and resulting in a French scrum. So good work from the French there. The Italians not really having ball in hand at all, which will be quite frustrating for them, I imagine. Here we see ball carries 22 by the French, only 5 from the Italians. 126 meters already made from the French and 42 from the Italians. So Italy definitely, desperately need to get a ball in hand. First scrum of the game, though, this is encouraging, about the 8-minute mark. French pack is significantly heavier, about 50 to 60 kilos heavier. Looks stable, though. Good, strong scrum. Aldrich picks and goes, got tons of space. Out to Luku. Luku then out the back. Jalibert into some space. Dabs it forward. Not going to be 50-22. They were in their half, but putting Ange Kaput's under lots of pressure. Trying to hot step his way out of there. Kind of gets around 1. Pinot eventually brings him down. But there is now a penalty to the Italians. So it does seem that I think it might have been Pinot or someone else in front of Jalibert there when he kicked that forward. The Brick B, excellent to have you in chat. The Brick B, thank you so much for your score prediction, 68 points to 12. Also sounds like a good margin. Yeah, I do think 12 is potentially realistic. A couple penalties and maybe a possible try for Italy. I don't see them putting any real pressure on the French, but I'm happy to be proved wrong as the Italians start to make their way down the field. So first bit of meaningful possession for the Italians. Just say probably 12 meters into the French half. First line out didn't go to plan, so hopefully they can get their second one on target. They go to the front, but Cameron Woki has other plans, disrupts that perfectly. So again, the Italians not doing themselves any favor. But good work from Cameron Woki. Luku then out to Mauvaka. Gets trapped. They do have a penalty advantage. So, I mean, the French just able to dink it over, see if they get anyone onto that, but no advantage gained. So they come back for a penalty, which I'm struggling to see what Carl Dixon is indicating, and it is offside. So the penalty count starting to rack up against the Italians, and you can understand it comes from that frustration of just not being able to get your own set piece ball. And I think it was number 1 Cyril Bale, excuse me, just a bit too eager. Again, trying to potentially make up for the mistake at line out time, and you start to make those unforced errors. So Italy just need to relax a bit, like not let off the gas, but just try and let cooler heads prevail. Julian Thompson saying 35-6 to France. Okay, thank you, Julian. Excellent. Not too many points. Well, I say not too many points. I think 35 is a lot of points. But in games we saw like last night with New Zealand and Uruguay, 73 points to nothing. But maybe we won't see that. Italy, I think, are undoubtedly a better squad than Uruguay. But let's see what the French can do. Right, French lineouts. Cameron Woki, they find at the front. Out to Luku. Here come the French. Now Pinot, ball in hand, who runs around almost the whole defense. It is going to be, it dips it forward just a bit too much. You feel like Pinot might have been able to get the pass off. You can see the grimace on his face. Not sure why he went for the dab through it. Almost had a 2-on-1. He could have looked to thread it. The Italians try to go quickly, but the referees bring them back. Here we see the replay again. I think Pinot went all the way around, got around a couple. Again, here you just felt like, oh goodness, there was who was it? Was it the one of the inside centers? Not Fiku. It was someone else who was on his inside. Potentially, that ball would have been in his hands and in for a try. But anyway, the Italians now look to clear well. So we set to box. Does Varney? And Varney does box. Sorry, Varney does box, but just gets them to their 22. So Italy still under plenty of pressure here early on in the game. Malvaca so far finding his target in the lineout. They go back to Olivon, to the back of the lineout. They try a bit of a drive. Why not? Suck in some defenders, make some meters if you can. Going sideways at first. RPG saying worst Italian team in a long time. RPG, but it was quite curious because they started the World Cup with so much promise, and they just kind of got worse as the tournament's gone on, which is really sad. Anyway, here come the French again. Luca out to the right. It's looking deadly from the French. You do feel it's starting to get a bit inevitable here. Aldrich makes good few meters again. Always positive runs from him over the advantage line. To launch, good strong run, offloads nicely to Olivon. Luku out to Woki. Woki out the back, just a bit too eager. Doesn't find Jalibert. Jalibert, Pinot looking up. A little bit of crossfield kick. Belbarry collects nicely off the bounce. Steps inside. Can he accelerate over the line? He does. Momentum gets him there. Try time. Nice assist from Pinot. Again, fancy team. Very, very happy. But still had a lot of work to do there. Did the number 11. Couldn't collect the ball on the fly, so had to wait for it to bounce. It bounced favorably. And Louis Bielbarri then steps inside two players and accelerates over the line. Momentum allows them to go down. So the French well in the driving seat. The Italians, no real answers at the moment. Dangerous stuff. But good work here. We see them step back 1-2, and the Italian players running into each other. Got to be better from Italy. I mean, if you've got someone going hard across, you've got to have rely on your man on the inside. I think it was number 10, Tommaso Alan. You've got to remember to sort of look for that cut inside. One goes hard on the outside in case he tries to go down the line. One stays ready for the cut. In Donna, I hope Italy remember to tackle. At the moment, they don't really seem to be. So potentially you could get your message out to the Italians because it'd be interesting to see those stats about, first of all, number of tackles made and then sort of tackles missed, which I can almost guarantee is going to be quite a large number. But Ramos here lining up to take the kick almost from an identical position of one of his earlier kicks. And no issues there, slots it directly down the middle. Deala saying clinical but artistic like a Renault. So I wonder if you're a Renault fan, must have been sad to see them with the F1 at Deala. If I was the Italian coach, drop goals and field goals. Yeah, in Donna, but you sorry, in Duna, but you've got to be down and you've got to have ball in hand, right? I mean, these guys haven't really been able to penetrate much of the French half as well as to make any kind of meaningful phase play down there. So we see France here collect and take it outside the 22. Luku then boxes, doesn't go out obviously on the full, but sort of hacks it down to Thomas Allen, who's now looking for support. Let's see, Ione, he's not had a chance to get into the game because he's not really had ball in hand. Makes a good run, not really many meters, but positive start for him. Here come Italy. Ange puts now ball in hand. A little bit of overlap here. What can they do with it? Better from the Italians. Good to see running strong. Right, Varney out to Alan. Alan out the back there to Gabrizi. Nice long pass over the top then to the left wing into the hands of big Lorenzo Canone, one of the Canone brothers. But there is a penalty going the French's way. So again, Italy not really able to make much ground, which is frustrating. Chat Sports made a bit of a prediction correction. See, this is always the benefit. Okay, so we see Canone there leading with the forearm to the throat, and Pinot gets the penalty. So can't lead with the forearm. Hand is fine, flat palm is fine, but can't lead with the forearm. We obviously saw who was it that got a penalty or a card for that earlier this week. But yes, Chatsport has amended their prediction, 88-3. Bernard Hughes, 18 to Italy, 53 to France. So again, Bernard sort of suggesting that the Italians will get over the line. At the moment, I don't see them penetrating more than the 22. Who's playing 10 for Italy? Number 10 is Tommaso Alan in Duna. So he's going to have a long night ahead of him. Right, but here come the French again. Aldred bouncing off one, just on the edge of the Italian 22. Jalibert out to Antonio. Luco to the big number 5, Flamand. Aldrich again, if you just look at his work rate, into phase 5, good from the French. Danti then taking it into contact. Out to Fuku. Fuku will step in and then out. No real penetration at the moment, but just sucking in the defense. Now they go out the back. Jalibert, there's a bit of an overlap there. Good delay from Ramos. But then eventually caught awkwardly a bit high maybe and driven backwards. Olivon now ball in hand, looking for the offload. No one on the outside. Good option to steal. Not there for the Italians. Here comes number 1, Cyril Bale. Out to the left we go. Again, Danti and Fiku. Italians not throwing many numbers into ruck, so preferring just to spread and defend, which is fair enough. Luku then. Olivon coming on quickly. Jalibert, nice quick hands to Malvaka. Malvaka to Belbari. Good tackle. Did step out. Excellent work there from the Italian number 13, taking out the French winger into touch. So better defense and nicely done by Ignacio Brex. Good work here. Sort of little stop-start, but did step on the line, deemed to have had ball in hand. So the Italians will be under big pressure here to get this line out right. They haven't got the line outs right so far, so lots of pressure here. Cameron Woki, though, will be looking to disrupt as best as he can. They go to the front. It's a good line out. It's better. A bit slow to sort of secure that ball. And excellent work again. Woki, if he's not disrupting in the air, he's getting his hands all around it, recognizing that it was a maul. No one sort of secured that ball. Again, because there were so few numbers in the line-outs, when the ball was brought down, there was no one ready to prevent Woki from getting over it. So it just slowly collapsed it, and excellent work. So, sure, a long night for the Italians indeed. Just simple mistakes, like not protecting your own ball. Big fan of Cameron Woki. Bit of a pizza party going on in chat. Right, game line success, 15 for France, 2 for Italy. Showing a difference in the In the first 20 minutes so far, so just shy of 20 minutes, first quarter here, all France at the moment. Italy nowhere in the game. Right. Scrum time. It does go straight into the boot, but they're able to muscle it to the back. Luku then picks up to Dante. Dante from a standing start. So the ref calling back for a reset scrum, saying the ball didn't or went in and came out. I don't think it came out completely. I think it just bounced off the foot, but it was still looked like it was under the scrum. So interesting call there. We don't often see the scrum getting reset for the ball coming out of the tunnel. Anyway, we'll come back and France will have another opportunity to launch a good attack here. Pretty much on the Italian 5 meter. There's what I'd say maybe about 10 or so meters on the left side, so not much of a blind side. So they probably will look to use Dante again, man of his stature, size and speed. Not easy to stop from so far out. So scrum time. It's a little bit messy, very messy. Turns. Referee says play on though. Aldrich does well to pick up from the back. But again, not as solid as the French would have liked, I suppose. They would have had a plan to launch from there. So have to now adjust as they do. Send it to the big boys. Malvaka again picking and going, looking for the spaces. Kamaruoki does the same thing on the 5 meter now. Olivon goes to the right, pick and go, making meters every time. Right, Malvaka picks, goes, gives to Olivon. 2 meters out now. French forwards doing what the French forwards do. Luku then goes to the right. I feel like they have to go. There must be numbers in space somewhere if they can go quickly. They were, but the Italians shift quickly. Luku out to Jalibert, holds it a bit. Little stop. Sorry, now it was Jalibert. A little switch inside with Pinot. Pinot looking for the offload. It bounces, fortunately for Ramos. We'll have to check who that's come off, but first glances suggest that Ramos is in with his first try of the game. Again, thank you, fantasy team. So I'm sure we'll have a look at see if this bounces off anyone, but the French are well and truly in the driving seat. Nduna, they're saying Italy need Bramstein to come out of retirement because they have been terrible this Rugby World Cup 23. Yeah, speaking of Bramstein, I had the pleasure of playing with him at a high performance academy in South Africa. And yeah, what a player Bramstein is. And was absolutely huge motor on the guy, excellent work rate. Yeah, can't fault him on anything. So really curious as to why potentially he's retired or not playing for the Italians anymore. Because yeah, I think he's a big loss for their side. So bring back Bram, 100%. Let's have a look. Chatsport French head coach Fabien must be wearing prescription safety glasses, thick frames. Man, those, yeah, he wears some really thick frames. And there we see Anton Dupont in the crowd with a bit of a black eye, but all things considered, I think he'll be pretty happy. Obviously, I think being cleared to come back and be ready for that quarterfinal, regardless of who it will be against Ireland or South Africa, I'm sure the French will be very grateful that he will be available for them. Right, Ramos then for the right-hand side, and Ramos doesn't matter. It can be on the left-hand side, it can be on the right-hand side, it can be straight in front because he slots that one with no issues. Here we see a bit of replay of Ramos to Jalibert. Jalibert with the switch to Pinot. Pinot then looking to offload, bounces off Fiku, who I wonder if he'll get the assists because that's rubbish because he's not on my fantasy team, so of course it's rubbish. We see Gabrizi there trying to get his men just a bit more inspired. So we get underway again. It's deep to Jalibert, who looks to clear, does find touch, but Ange Capuzzo says he wants to go quickly to Tomoso Alan. Alan taking it into contact over his 10 meter. Comes out to the right now to the Italian forwards. Again, some possession for Italy. They'll be looking a bit starved of possession this game. And Gregory Aldred says, yeah, I'm going to prevent you from having any more of the ball. Gets over and steals the ball. So I need to see the possession stat because, my word, it's been all France. Aldrich bringing down, releasing over the ball so quickly. Nothing that captain Michel Lamaro, and we can see the head coach of Italy, they just drop his head to the table. Absolute frustration. Italy not being able to get any kind of, let's not even think about a foothold. Let's not even a toehold in the game here. total French domination as they once again just kick up the field and walk the Italians back. Rugby is an exhausting game, but defending in a rugby game is one of the most exhausting things ever. So the Italians are really starting to feel this 24 minutes of what's all just been pretty much defense. Right, Malvaka finds Woki at the front. Started driving more by the French. Second shift comes apart. No penalty advantage, so play on. Dante then in midfield. Quick ball, Luku out to the right. Jalibert stepping back to Luku on the inside. Chop, tackled, brought down quite quickly. Digging, looking for quick ball, but the Italians win a penalty. So good work from Italy down in their red zone. Finally, some good defensive work from the Italians, but potentially the wrong call there from Jalibert to come back inside and try find Luku. He was isolated. It did feel like, their wings have had such success so far. Get it out wide into those spaces. The Italians are not comfortable, or they don't seem comfortable really doing that. So Italy, with a good clearance kick, still in their half though, just on the other side of the 10-meter. Yeah, and all momentum with France in this first half. So the Italians win the lineouts just, and here come Italy. Right, only linking up nicely with Brex with Ange Capuzzo. Capuzzo, he's got space on the inside. Nice to Alan. This is better from Italy. This is excellent. And he just bobbles it forward and loses it in the contact. You could see he was potentially going to get his hands free. But they do have the scrum advantage to France. They'll try to run it out a bit. It does look a bit messy. I'm sure we'll be brought back for the scrum. We absolutely will. But that was fantastic from the Italians. Very, very exciting there. Finding holes in the French defense. Nice cutting line there from, I think, Ignacio Brex, finding Capuz putting the step and the speed onto Alan. Alan then drew all the defenders, and you could see just needed to get it across to Ange Capuzzo, excuse me. But who was this? It was, I think, Bale Barry who dislodged the ball as he was going to offload. So great defensive work from France. But Italy saying, hey, we can score. We're here. So positive to see a little bit of life from the Italians. We do have a French scrum deep in their half. Looking at tomorrow, we've got Wales and Georgia. A final pool play for the teams. England, Samoa should be a good one. Can England put together one last decent performance before they get into their quarterfinal playoff? And then tomorrow evening, Ireland and Scotland. Diala saying, there's a little Italian flair. Yeah, absolutely. Positive from the Italians. What a game tomorrow night. It's going to be Scotland and Ireland. A huge belief and hope in a Scottish camp. I think the Irish know what they bring to the table. They'll feel very confident, obviously, after that win over South Africa. So it's going to be a good outing by both sides. You do have to feel, and this is maybe just my opinion, well, definitely just my opinion, but favouring the Irish there to come out on top of that one. So French scrum, as we said, down deep in their 22, just about maybe 5 meters or so off their 5 meters, so 10 meters from the try line. The Italians will look to put big pressure here. Careful not to overdo it, though, and give France an easy exit with a penalty, but solid scrum, looking for second push. The French told to use it. Good scrum by the Italians. Luku picks and hacks it over the top. Doesn't find touch, though. Finds Capuzzo. He's looking back. He's got Ione on his right, but he tries to dart inside. Gets through one or two. So good, strong run from Ange Capuzzo. Picked up and went to the left-hand side here from the Italians. Negri with ball in contact. Varney then out to Gabrizi at first receiver. Varney then again to the big men. Ange Capuzzo stayed down, which is not good for the Italian side. Here comes Ignacio Brex. Good, nice positive running from the Italians over the advantage line. Varney ball's a little slow. Ione, again, not much of him tonight, but not much ball in hand, then trying to offload in contact. French sniffing a potential turnover, but diving over the top there. Could argue about that penalty, sir. Right, out to the left we go. The big man. Ferrari finally with ball in hand. Varney, yeah, you do feel Kaputz is in the middle of play there. Kaputso has to receiving some medical attention. Looks like just something to the eye, maybe finger or boot or something. Never pleasant though. So here we see Ange Kaputso trying to identify the space, gets sort of round one through a couple, goes to place the ball, and maybe just a knee to the face there. So nothing intentional, obviously, just reality of the game. Taking contact, especially on the ground. Looks like a knee of his own player, actually. Yep, chat sport there saying Italy having some flair in their team, or Italy have some flair in the team, just seems the setup there isn't for it. Yeah, agreed. And you know, I mean, these guys have been playing together for a while now. They've played the Six Nations campaign, albeit a shortened one. But even before that, last year's one. You know, so you do feel like the structures and systems, and they are playing consistent international rugby. They don't have the excuse of the Fijis, the Samoas, the Namibias, you know, the Uruguays. These guys play a good number of games, so you would imagine that their level would be better. Alan saying definitely expecting a win for Wales tomorrow, but I think it'll be a bruising encounter. Absolutely, it's never going to be an easy one. The Georgians will show to play. I mean, we showed what the Georgians, you know, did to Fiji. You know, shut them right down, which is fantastic to see. So, yeah, Wales definitely the favourites, but Georgians will be looking to rain on their parade. Right, so Italy again with ball in hand. Only now on the left-hand side with ball in space. Great probing run from him. Good positive run off the deck to Varney. Varney to Alan. To Aruza there. Varney then. Ignacio Brex. Varney to the left. Now to number 4, Canone. Nicolo Canone. Ball is significantly slow. Varney trying to get a bit of a penalty there, but nothing coming his way. It's better from the Italians. Just phase 6. Very rare. I think that they've had the ball more than 1 or 2 phases. Cameron Woki shooting up the line, taking them behind the advantage line. Ignacio Brex out the back. Alan, only able to collect, but then sort of in a panic, throws a bit of a wild pass. So they do have to trek backwards, but I think they've still got ball. They do. Just need to settle here, the Italians. They were doing good stuff. They were driving the French backwards and looking to keep that up. Out to the right-hand side they come. It's better from Italy. It's good. Just need to settle. Get the ball in hand. Go back to the systems and the structures. The holes will come. This is good discipline as well from the French defense, not giving away any penalties. Gregory Aldrich looking for his opportunity, but not finding one. Varney goes to the left. So just playing well between the 15-meter, not ever really going out. There is an advantage for an offside. So good work from Italy there, keeping the ball, forcing the French to eventually make a mistake. This is better from the Italians. And they do come back for the penalty. So Italy have done the first part right, gaining the penalty. We are going to see an early substitution here in the 30th minute. I wonder if it is Ange Kaputso. It is indeed Ange Kaputso coming off, which is very sad for the young Italian fullback. So I wonder if the word, say, sort of see him mouthing there potentially. I can't see, but shouting at the medic. So he feels like potentially he shouldn't be brought. But it does look just like a head injury assessment. So hopefully we will see him come back on after that if he passes it successfully. A little bit of a discussion here between Gabrizi and Olavon, but penalty eventually awarded. And Gabrizi marches the Italians downfield with a good touch finder. So again, better from the Italians. Again, now next job is to win the line out, and what can we do from there? In Nduna, they're saying Six Nations should introduce promote and relegation game to allow countries like Georgia, Portugal a chance to top competition. Absolutely, Nduna. I think I agree with you on that one. We've spoken about this relegation system and enabling those teams to have access to the top teams and just play more rugby. Play more rugby one and then play better rugby. So here come Italy, good, strong, driving more from them. It does break up quite early though, but they're able to keep possession. It's a bit scrappy, but better. They won the line out. They got some go forward. Can they then keep the ball? Varney then about 8 meters out, working their way towards the center of the post. Varney picks up. Strong run from Ignacio Brex, but strong defense from the French. Varney picks and goes himself, taking it to the line. He's about 3 meters from the try line. Pick and go there from 14. Bruno about a meter out. This looks positive from Italy. That looks like from the side, 100%. Anyway, they're now 3 meters out. Absolutely, chat sport. Italy finding some rhythm now, driving to the line. Maybe Aldrich again, just slowing down, trying to pick and go over the top here. Gabrizi is putting his hand up, saying, shouting for it, screaming it to the right-hand side, but they go to the left. How often that is the case. Now we come back to the right to the forwards. The French defense, they're looking good. Dante's so dangerous over the top of the ball. Again, trying to go through that straight channel, but not really any way through there. Most congested area. You want quick ball, then you want quick, and out it comes here to Ignacio Brex, who's tackled well by Luku and Fiku. Still on his feet, good driving run there. Varney to Negri. Negri 1 meter out. Better by Italy. Out to big number 8. Canoni short, half a meter. Varney needs a quick ball somewhere. But the French doing well to slow it down. Pick and go from the base. Oh, less than half a meter. Needs to work that ball backwards. It is short. French player needs to release it. Looks like the try has been awarded. Interesting that the refs called it from that position. Amazing that he's seen it. But it is number 1, Simon Ferrari. Good work by the Italians to get onto the scoreboard. No knock-on. Yeah, it did seem potentially a knock-on in there somewhere. But the Italians finding their rhythm. Simon Ferrari getting his first Rugby World Cup try. Much, much better from the Italians. Phases together, looking clinical, sending men to support in the breakdown, not panicking, not rushing. A few maybe, pick and goes that might have been one too many, but ultimately it worked out for them. So Italy on the scoreboard, they'll be chuffed with that. Very difficult to start that. I didn't see any knock-ons, chat sport. Did you guys see when I was watching there? Induna Bosley said there's no knock-on, and then chat sport's asking. So I didn't see a knock-on. It all looks good to me. Although I spoke too early. Here we go, TMO. And often when the TMO gets involved, it is not good news. Generally, when they flag something up, more or less, it means there is no try. So very unfortunate for the Italians here. So it is Negri taking it into contact, working hard to get the ball backwards. He does. Can't quite see what they're looking at, actually. Can't even see where the ball is in this angle. Oh, it might be not for the ball knock-on. This is the try scorer, Simon Ferrari, coming in high on the 9, Luku. I do feel like that is on the chest and it comes up to the head. So for me, personally, guys, there's no foul play there. I don't think it's foul play. I think it's on the chest. It slides up. I think it's accidental. I think it's play on, really. Yeah, I think he's clearing out that player. I think he's covering the chest. Although we see Dante and Aldrich start to put their hands up immediately. Maybe a different angle here, but Aldrich's in the way there. No, guys, come now. I think that's a chest shot. I don't really enjoy, guys, I must be honest, a lot of rugby players all of a sudden grabbing their faces now. We saw Uruguay do it quite a lot. We now see Luku doing the same thing. Trying to milk, because I think what's happened is they know how strict, right, the TMOs and the refs in World Rugby are being on head contact, and so anything to sort of milk that they're gonna do. It's kind of like a Nick White, right? Everyone absolutely rinsed Nick White for that Faf de Klerk swipe at his face. But this is just something that's creeping back in, or not creeping back into, but creeping to rugby. And no try. They've disallowed the try based on that, and they've given a penalty for for the high tackle. It's just going to be a penalty though, because it's mitigation from chest to head. But guys, help me out here. If they've recognized that they've started on the chest, and because of the way the play was falling, it slid up. And let's be real. If you're watching that with me, it didn't look like much force up to the jaw or the head. That for me is just a rugby tackle. In the chest, contact is clearly in the chest and slides up. Yeah, I think that's very much the wrong decision there. I think the Italians have been robbed of a try. Piggy Boy, I agree with you. First of all, fantastic name. Second of all, what a stupid call. Absolutely. I think that is rubbish. That's one of the worst calls. Yeah, we can see Ferrari there shaking his head. I think the ref and the TMO have absolutely got it wrong there. Good work from the Italians then to swipe that ball from Aldrich, and they get a penalty. So a little bit of instant justice there. Hopefully they can work their way downfield. Yeah, chat sports absolutely harsh. Piggy Boy saying the ref is having a shocker. There's been a few calls. I think he's not quite on it. But this again, hopefully the momentum now stays with the Italians. Caprese has not kicked well. He's been a bit too greedy and he's kicked the ball dead. Again, we see the teams under pressure doing that. Raises his hands in apologies, but I mean, you learn from schoolboy. Just make sure, right? Just make sure. Just trying to go for a bit too much, and he goes out on the dead ball line. So, yeah, unfortunate. Just when momentum was with them, and doing a lot of that work. Anyway, so we will have a scrum from where he kicked it. So once again, France have ball in hand. But much better 10 minutes there, really. 10, 15 minutes from the Italians, slowing that French onslaught. Alan saying that that was cruel. Yeah, Eugene getting involved. You guys clearly not happy. I'm not happy. That I do feel like is probably one of the worst calls of this World Cup so far. The French able to, my goodness, to win a penalty here. But the Italian number 6 driving his opposite number, like completely, disconnecting from the scrum and then driving him back. Gregory Aldrich, though, sort of gesturing to the Italian player, the classic sort of, what we think of as Italian hand movement. So Gregory having none of it, just saying, go back, and then doing this. So that was quite humorous. But no, not happy with that referee decision at all. So anyway, here we go. So Jalibert kicks the French downfield, and you do think with just over 3 minutes to go here, what's even happened there? A little personal scrum happening from 6. Canoni and Olivon getting involved. Right, Mawaka finds Woki. Try it for the driving maul once again. They've had success with it tonight so far. It's at the back again with Mawaka. They start to go forward. Good 5-6 meters now up from where they started. Luku at the back there gets the ball, goes to release Fiku cross kick there. Very awkward, but fantastically collected from Damien Pinot. And what a kick, what a collect. It is a good try, but it feels kind of muted, guys. I must be honest. I know I should be impartial and a lot more excited because Pinot is indeed on my fantasy team, but yeah, you just do feel like it. That Italian try should have been awarded. I promise I'll stop crying about it, but I'll move on in a bit. But we do have to admire that kick from Jalibert. I think it was sort of mid-tackle under lots of pressure here. Got it up nice and high. No one out that side covering Pinot, and as easy as you like for him. Fantastic try. So the French will be more than happy with their first half performance. I think the Italians will be quite bleak, to be honest. For the first 20, 25 minutes, they just were nowhere. A bit of sleep. No real threat. But of late, the last 10 or so minutes, it's been better from the Azzurri. See the French coaching staff there, stoked with that one. Thomas Ramos looks to kick up. He's been on target and all night, and no change there. Slotted directly down the center. Minute and a half to go in this first half. So 31 points to nothing to the French. Early onslaught, really, by the French. Now a late finish. So hopefully, can Italy potentially look to get on the scoreboard before halftime? So we get underway just on the edge of the 22. Aldrich collects well, but driven back in by the Italians. Luku will look to box. A minute left, so we will still have time. See if he looks to find touch. Doesn't, keeps it in. No, he does indeed find touch. Because Aldrich was driven back in the tackle there, so he's able to do so. It's a great touch finder, actually, from the French number 9. AN in the chat there, again, also not happy with the referee, saying the referee are playing in this World Cup as defenders. Now, it's interesting, some of the reffing calls that have been a bit controversial, but we go on. That was definitely not straight, but the referee says play on. Again, just that consistency. So here come Italy, 10 seconds left in regulation time, but it is Dante who gets over the ball very quickly and earns his side a penalty. So again, unfortunately, it was Canoni. They're just running into contact, isolated, the number 8 Canoni. And yeah, Dante, so good. And the French are going to point to the posts, and they're going to try slot one over. So, a lot of people might ask, potentially, why is that? And it could be just for some practice, giving Thomas Ramos a chance to look at that. Now, Induna, you ask a very good question. Is there a referee review board? And there must be. But this is something that I've been chatting about over the last couple of years, is that we very quickly hear the outcome for player disciplinary hearings, right? So we see players get cited on field in real time. They make a mistake, fine. We see them. So Thomas Ramos lines up the kick. He is going to push it to the right-hand side. It does go dead, so that brings us to the half. So very quickly, let me finish up my rant here, or answering your question about the referee review board. So we see players who get sanctioned. We follow their sanctions, right, with the rugby review board. We hear about the sightings. We hear about what week ban they get. It's all very public. So we feel that justice has been served. Not always, right, with some of the lengths of bans, but at least we see, we hear, we feel like something's being done. With the referees, none of that is made available to the public. I don't even know if any of that happens, right? We don't know the selection. How do they judge referees' performances? And when a referee does make a really bad mistake or has a shocker of a game, where is the adjustment in that? Now, I'm not asking for the referees' heads or anything like that, because I do know, fans can get a bit overboard. But I think we're all just wanting accountability. Everyone has a bad day, but it's your job. Maybe everyone has bad, but there should be some sort of, I don't know, referee review board where it's the same as when a player gets, a red card or whatever. We hear about, okay, this ref made this call, or the series of calls, or had a particularly bad game, blah, blah, blah. So, there's this sort of suspension, or this sort of, they're going to go do an advanced training course, or whatever the case is. I don't know. That's how I feel. Anyway, Quasi saying the French won't be easy to beat at all. These refs support them. Yeah, you see, and then unfortunately it gets into like this where we start to get feeling like they are supporting. I personally don't think that the refs are biased and supporting any one side, but it is difficult not to fall into that trap. But guys, that has been the first half. So France in a commanding position of 31 points to nothing. Again, all France sort of in that first 20, 25 minutes. Italy came back, and we thought they got over the line. It looked much better, but unfortunately disallowed from a high tackle, a dangerous tackle. But I will be back with you in a bit to take you through the second half. So go fill up your refreshments. Really enjoyed the conversations going on in the chat. So definitely keep that up, guys. Looking forward to it. And yeah, be back with you in about 10 minutes or so. Love you guys. See you then.
Hello everybody, Stevie P here from Forever Sports, and I'm here to tell you about BOYLESPORTS, the official betting partner of Forever Sports. Across all of our channels, they are one of the leading betting companies in the world and have recently launched in South Africa with an amazing offering. You can get a 1,000 Rand welcome offer. For the rugby, they are giving you 25% payout boost up to 2,000 Rand on the Springboks winning the World Cup, as well as an extra 50 Rand bet when you stake 250 more on rugby during the Rugby World Cup. It is your one-stop betting shop. That is BOYLESPORTS. Come and join us in the community. Check the links in the description to sign up, get yourself an account, and make sure that you are winning big with BOYLESPORTS.
Hello and welcome to Forever Sports. My name is Reese. I'll be talking to you a little bit today about one of our channel partners, BITDEFENDER. BITDEFENDER is a global leader in cyber security. BITDEFENDER is committed to defending people all around the globe against cyber attacks, as well as to transform people's digital experiences. In the next 6 months, Forever Sports will be covering major tournaments such as the Rugby Championship, the Premier League, the remainder of the Formula 1 season, as well as embarking on the biggest Rugby World Cup YouTube campaign ever. To ensure that these are all a success, it is imperative that the Forever Sports channels and platforms remain uncompromised. And with BITDEFENDER, we can be assured that our cybersecurity needs are being taken care of. To read more on BITDEFENDER, please be sure to check the links in the description of our video. Once again, thank you very much to our partner, BITDEFENDER, for joining the channel. I've been...
Right, welcome back, everyone, to the coverage here on Forever Rugby on Forever Sports of the game between France and Italy. And second half is about to get underway. And before we do that, Dial is clearly tired of our whining there, saying, stop whining about the refs. They answered to an international panel. Yeah, Dial, I think it's more just about the transparency and being made aware of the procedures and whatever. You know, we know if players make a mistake or sort of deemed to make foul play or whatever, we know the process, detailed reports are released, all the mitigation factors, the reason for the decision, every panel appointee gets their say. With the refs, we don't get to see any of that. So I think it's more just asking to see what that international panel, how they deal with those incidents. How do they deem, okay, this is a ref had a bad performance here and this is the action that we've taken. I think that's potentially more what we're after. Anyway, that being said, though, we are into the second half. Nothing can be done. And France earning themselves an early penalty, about 40 seconds in. Malvaca getting his hands on the ball. And the Italians are unfortunately getting off to a similar start to the first half. Again, slightly slow Malvaca. Malvaca not looking like he had hands on the ball, but potentially the player in that sort of squeeze position. And so refs more likely to give the penalty for that. Now, we have seen that number 23 for Italy, give me a second here, that is indeed Lorenzo Pani, has stayed on the field, and Capuzzo not coming back, so potentially having failed that head injury assessment, which is very sad that his World Cup is coming to an end in that way. Exciting player, breakout player of the year, I believe, was it this year or last year? Last year, probably. And not having much impact on this game. James getting involved in the chat, though, saying, come on, Ireland. That's be tomorrow night. Definitely make sure you tune in to Forever Rugby on here, Forever Sports. We'll bring you coverage of what is bound to be a cracker of a game. We do have a scrum then again early in the second half. And a massive thank you once again, guys, to you all joining in and joining us. Let me know again where you're joining from as well. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and look at potentially becoming a channel member. James also saying a bit more about Italy. So Georgia and Portugal have looked better. I agree. I think Georgia definitely looked the more consistent team. Portugal have had moments where they've looked really promising. So I think it was earlier on in the chat we were talking about a relegation promotion system potentially in the Six Nations, allow these teams the ability to go up and down. And just keep playing more games of rugby. So maybe something to look at there. But as I was saying, massive thank you to you guys. Massive thank you to the channel sponsors, Boyle Sports. Again, if you think you know what the result's going to be, go check out their description in the link below to put the money on what you think is going to happen this weekend. They've got all sorts of bets. If you're not sure where to start, go check out Chris Rowe's Pro Tips. He'll guide you through where he's putting his money. So the scrum does go down, but the French winning a penalty. And it was... I think the Italian number 3 potentially deeming it to collapse that scrum. So unfortunate there. So yeah, definitely go check out Boyle Sports. Ruri in the chat there saying the ref is making this a hard match to watch. It is always difficult though, isn't it? There where potentially Carl Dixon, out of the 100 calls he's made, maybe 80 of them, 85 have been good or neutral calls. But it only takes a couple really bad calls to just sour your taste, right? And it's difficult to then sort of see him as anything else or making any other good calls. So I appreciate that it might be difficult, but yeah, I do feel like some of them we're going to have to try and view through the lens of remove those crappy calls we saw him make earlier. So some changes, some early changes here for the Italians. The Italian captain is brought off, and he looks just quite perplexed as to why he's being brought off so early. It's only 3 minutes into the second half. So Lamaro is off, Zuliani is on, Varni is off, Fusco is on. So yeah, some real changes there, the 9 and the 7. And again, early changes. France earning themselves another penalty. So the Italians now, and you can just see, and it is Zuliani, the number 20, coming on. The pressure, the frustration just boiling over and causing them to make these mistakes. So Jalibert then kicks us into touch about 6-7 meters out from the Italian line. The French here looking to score some early points in the second half, and they do also make some early changes of their own. Number 18 is coming on for Antonio, so it is Alderhi coming on. And then Flament coming off and Tau Fefunauer coming on as well. So 2 subs. So we go to the back of the lineouts. Olivon, little pop around the back to Aldrich. Aldrich hits Fiku, who's been quite quiet tonight, not much ball in hand. And again, the French earning another penalty there. So the Italians' discipline just falling to pieces. You do feel the ref is going to have a word with them soon about this. They are making penalties in the red zone as well. Springboks versus France quarterfinal will be a fantastic game to watch. Absolutely, it will. Undoubtedly. Likewise, an Ireland New Zealand quarterfinal. I mean, mouth-watering stuff. But arguably both games could easily be a final, and probably something you want to see in the semi-finals. But anyway, that is the draw. We're not going to go on about it, despite me going on about it. So the French have opted for the scrum here. We're about 6 meters out, just to the right of the posts. Huge blind side here. So the French got Thomas Ramos right behind the scrum. So we see this, Ramos in a 10 position. Moving sideways, Luca will need to dig that out. Does not do so, but Aldrich able to clean up again. So again, the French not able to use the scrum as the attacking platform that they would have wanted. They had that in the first half as well. The Italians just able to make it a bit difficult for them, not allowing them that clean sort of go forward ball. So here we go, still on the 5 meter. Malvaka taking it into contact. Woki trying to gain some ground, but heavy traffic that way. Luku out to Geloch. Olivon driven back in the contact. Alvaca then at scrum half. Gives it to Cameron Wilkie. Stopped on the 5 meter. Good defense by the Italians, but again, keeping the discipline is going to be key. And they're going left. Jalibert, short ball off to Dante. Fiku inside to Aldrit. Still now driven backwards. 6 meter now. Good defense. Backwards, says the referee. Tau Fifuna comes on. Again, stopped well. Good defense by the Italians. Now just need to keep their discipline. Jalibert looks, probes, goes through. Jalibert's going to go himself. What an individual try. Piece of brilliance really there from the French number 10. That was just too good to watch. Too easy, in fact. Through a dummy. Everyone sort of bought it. Holes opened up. Went through himself. And no one covering that tackle. Far too easy for the French number 10. And they are back on the scoreboard within 7 minutes of the second half. So Mathieu Jalibert scoring a beautiful individual try here. Olivon then out the back, dummy, step inside, huge hole opened up, and the Italian defense just not able to stop him from that distance. So I think, Italy will really be looking to try and tidy things up and exit, with at least a positive 40 minutes. Again, similar to the way the first half started, they've not had much possession, given away a series of early penalties. France have got on the board early, so you would think the Italians can't take the 20 minutes it took them to wake up in the first half. They've got to get things together. Right, Ramos slots the kick. No issues there. So it is 38 points to nothing. An ominous start for the Italians for the second half. Big dummy and Ignacio Brix just not being able to stop the inside step there. French fans absolutely loving it. Jalibert, what a World Cup he's had. Again, late addition to the side. Being called up, obviously, for the injured Roman Intermac. But he stepped up to the plate and done a phenomenal job. Right, the Italians get us underway. Gregory Aldrich, safe pair of hands in his 22. So Luku doesn't box, but rather now we're going to maybe see the French start to look to run it from the 22. Potentially a different option here. Olivon taking it into contact. Luku out to Jalibert. Jalibert then down the field. So again, not looking to kick it out, but try to find something. So Ione, again, relatively quiet, but never being brought back in the game. Looking to offload in the contact. Potentially not the smart thing to do, but the Italians still have it. Out the right, they go to Alan. Alan then to the big men on his right, driving it up the field. So replacement scrum half number 21 out the back quickly. Here we go. Here come Italy. But it does look like it's been knocked on. So, yeah, unfortunate, just not able to get anything really going there, which has kind of summed up pretty much the Italian game so far. So I think threw it into Thomas Ramos's chest there. So, French line out. Nice disruption by the Italians. However, Olivon pounces on the loose ball, able to get it away. Here come French, still in their half, just within their half. Fiku. Nicely stolen there by the Italian players, earning themselves a penalty. So here, Italy can use this opportunity to make a good touch finder, which they do. Excellent work, 6 meters out. Great kick by Tomas Alan. Tommaso Alan, excuse me. So the Italians now, precious territory, precious possession. Nduna saying, gosh, this Italian team is terrible. It is unfortunate when things aren't going your way. It only seems to get worse, and to try and change the tide and momentum is so difficult. So line out, which has been problematic. They go to the back, though. They do find the intended jumper, so solid rolling ball set. Can they then start to find some momentum? French do well to stop it, though. Told to use it once. They go out to the back, so no success through there. Ignacio Brex, nicely picked up by Canone. Here come Italy on the 5 meter. Good strong run from them. Ball was out, so not protected. So here come the French. Fiku then out to the speedsters. Ramos, the number 11, pops it on the boot inside and able to be collected and cleaned up by Pani. So good work from Italy, but absolutely out-muscled, counter-rucked, and then earned a penalty entering the ruck from the side. So from the French 5 meter all the way down, and then there's a cross-field kick because no one is at home, but I don't think they took it on the correct mark. So luckily for the French, Woki was lurking on the sideline there, trying to take that quick and catch the Italian sleeping. But again, just really unfortunate not able to convert that territory and possession and pressure into points down in the French side. And how quickly the French turned that ball over, identified the ball was out. Again, the Italians not doing the basics right, not making sure the ball is kept in the ruck, protecting that ball. Rugby's very simple. Look after the ball, score more points than the other side. Profound stuff, I know. But it really is a very, very simple game. So Jalibert kicks to the 5 meter. And are we in for another French try here? We haven't seen the forwards dominating too much. Scrum time, there's been a few pushes, but nothing too obvious. They find Olivon in the center. They look to set the driving more. Comes that second shove. Malvaka at the back. Malvaka then pops around the side, and absolutely no one at home for Italy there. Very, very, very simple try. Too easy. And I know I said that, but I know I said that earlier, but it is the truth. Again, Malvaka from the back, looked up, no one there. Just a bit of a defensive ill discipline, not being in the right position, trying to see whose job it was, but there was a massive hole on this side. And yeah, Tommaso Alan sort of looking up, saying, where was anyone? No one was there. He's watching the back line. It's got to be someone with eyes up, maybe a big forward on the inside. Gabrizi just for a long night. Induna asking, is the Italian coach on his way out yet? I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything. Has not been, unless you guys have heard something that I haven't. But I don't think there are any plans for the Italian coach to leave. Again, these things take time. It's not going to change overnight. We understand that, but we would have expected potentially to see more progress from this Italian side, given how much rugby they do play and their participation in the Six Nations. We do see Luku come off as Olivon. They've both had Ramos slots that kick, taking it to 45 points to nothing, approaching that 50-point difference. So I think if this game ended now, that is my SUPERBRU on absolute fire. But I have a feeling that the French aren't quite done yet. So Malvaka makes his way off as well. So a number of changes there for the French side. I think all the players have put in a massive shift. So we are seeing Bogarty come on, crosses on for Olivon. So some fresh legs. So it's not getting any easier for the Italians as the fresh legs come on right. 23 for the Italian side, though. Pani decides to run it back and does so well. Lorenzo Pani. So here come Italy. Strong tackle, though, from the French number 6. Fusco there in scrum half. And Ruza just hands, not great. Ball came over to him. Long looping pass, almost snatched at it and forced the knock on. So, yeah, when it rains, it pours. Frustrating work there for the Italians. So it did look like it was knocked forward and out into touch. So I think the French have chosen the line out as opposed to the scrum. Right, Woki then off the top, out it goes. Here come France, number 17. Big Wardi making a good run there over the advantage line. 21 now. Couliot there, the replacement scrum half, getting involved early on. Nice soft hands from Pinot, but unfortunately doesn't find his target and just trickles his way out into touch. But again, the French now starting to look like they're just having fun with it, starting to toss the ball around, not in an unstructured way, but in a sort of calm, confident, playful way. Starting to have some fun. We do see number 19 coming on field as well for Italy, CC. But in Duna, they're saying, I tend to agree with some Northern Hemisphere rugby pundits. Italy has been in the Six Nations for a long time, but zero improvement. In Duna, who you also agree with is Riza, who's on the Forever Sports team, and you'll see him on the fan forum sometimes commentating through games, also on Forever Football. So if you're interested in football, definitely check out that channel. But he is, he's a strong believer that Italy have gone nowhere over the last couple of years, whereas Stevie P, who you all know so well, is a big Italian fan. But no, I tend to agree that we should have seen more improvement than what we're seeing at the moment. And why is that not? Why are we not seeing that consistency? Their chat sports saying Italy look like a moments team. Absolutely. This is stuff we expect from a proper tier 2 emerging nations team. Moments of, oh, look, they can play rugby, as opposed to, just consistent phases, minutes. Every team's going to have a bad couple of phases or minutes where they get out of the game and have to work hard to get back into it. But it's the opposite with the Italians. They're always out the game, and there's a few minutes where they're in it. Why is that? They've almost got no excuse. But anyway, so speaking of the Italians, here they are, ball in hand, trying to make their way upfield. Positive stuff from them, better keeping the ball, earning those phases, earning the right to go wide, forcing the French defense to actually have to do something. But not going anywhere fast. So Alessandro Fusco picks one up, but the safe hands of Ramos underneath. And it's brought all the way to the right-hand side here. So Pinot with space. So he finds a half gap, runs hard work from Ignacio Brex, who makes the tackle and strips that ball. Not often we see Pinot stripped of the ball. He's a strong runner, so nice work there from the Italian 13. But then it's fired out and sort of goes to no one backwards. Ione tries to dab it through. Again, just a bit scrappy now. Things might start to deteriorate even further. Can Italy keep it together and get on that scoreboard? Never great to come off the field with a goose egg. Ruza taking it into contact. Player is down. An Italian player is down this side. It is their scrum half Fusco, so everyone's going to have to step up and work a bit harder. Recognize that their scrum is in. Decision-making time now is key. Johnny passes out to Thomas Alan. Nicely collected there, though, from the Italians. Good work to win their own kick. Can they keep that ball? Almost looks like, and it is indeed a turnover. So the French players doing well to get in over deep speed, holding on, not releasing the ball. Alan Robinson. Italian defense is more like Grueri than Parmesan. Yeah, it's not great, is it, Alan? In Duna, then the Italians are third in the group, so they auto qualify for 2027. Players seem they have gone on holiday already. Absolutely. I think they would have wanted to come out, and show a big performance there after the massive defeat from New Zealand. And we do see the Italians actually winning a penalty. It's against Thomas Ramos there for playing the Italian number 14, Pier Bruno, in the air. So a little change of fate here, but again, what can Italy do with that? Can they actually convert as they're driven down to the line? So I was saying, I do think the Italians would have wanted to come out here and put in a big performance, maybe even a big upset. That was always going to be a long shot, but here we go. What can they do? So they find Bruza. Job one done. Good rolling maul. Does go to the ground though, so out the back, here they come. Gabrizi with a nice strong run. Again, need those supporter players in. Tackles made. Dante has to release. Penalty. Whoa. How is... Okay, so I need to see a replay for that, because I feel like Gabrizi took it into contact. I feel like Dante made the tackle and never released. So unless he was a joining player that came in from somewhere else that I completely missed. But I feel like Dante did never release that ball. Don't know if we'll see a replay of that. Really hope we do. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I thought it was going to be a penalty against Dante for not releasing. Here we go. As it goes to ground, and Dante's so quick over. I mean, crazy work from Dante. That actually looked excellent, so I might have to walk that back. But the way he threw Gabrizi down to the ground and then just followed his throw, yeah, I mean, you call that a clear release. It becomes quite, I don't know, subjective there. So Jamine is on the field. Ramos is off. I think Ramos has had a fantastic stint. It also looks like Fiku's coming off. So all the changes happening now with 20 minutes still to go. Cheslin Ribbits in the chat there getting involved, saying, "Hi guys, 5-3 split the way to go for SA." Cheslin, who knows what Rassi and Jacques Ninawa will come up with, and I think depending on who they face, it might look to change. We know the 7-1 had a good impact against New Zealand, although that was a very different box side. But looking at this French side, you know, do you want to potentially take that gamble? So French then with some attack, but kicking just a bit too deep, and Bruno calling the mark, allowing his side to get behind them, everyone just to catch their breath a bit. So hoofing it downfield. And Jaminet is going to, Jalibert, excuse me, is going to do the same. So kick is chased well, knocked backwards. So the French now have ball. It does go a bit loose then. Jalibert then out to 22. More fun with a good run from him. Dante then out to the number 11, Bielbarri, taking it into contact well. Jalibert, strong run from big number 19, Tau Fefuna. Slow ball, but it does come to the right-hand side, caught behind the advantage line. So good from the Italian defense. Need to keep their discipline, though, not giving away anything here. It comes to the right, out the back to Pinot. It's read quite well by Bruno, but Pinot still on his feet, looking for holes, dancing inside, hoping someone's going to run off that shoulder. Aldrich is into clear. Looking good from the French attack, looking dangerous, but the Italian defense is there for it. Now up to the 5 meter, starting to feel inevitable again. Over the top, nicely worked to number 22, Yoram Moafana for the French side. I think a nice over-the-top pass there from number 10, Jalibert. So the French are in for another try. It takes them to 50 points. Always quite something when a team gets to 50 points, especially at this international level, international test rugby. So Yoram Moafana gets his first try. Jalibert just conducting things, inviting the Italian defense to bite on him, hoping the space will open up elsewhere. But this French side is looking good. The attack is looking potent. They're scoring in many different ways. Nice work there from the French number 10. I think he's had an absolutely outstanding game. Really saying lesson from this match is to leave the French centres out of your fantasy team. I mean, it is tough, isn't it? Like, they're not scoring tries. The French wings and the French fullback, I think you've got to include. But you know, Dante, I think, has had a massive performance. I think he's ran well. He's turned over multiple balls. Fiku, again, not much of a performance, although I don't know if the French game plan is designed much around their 13. We know they like to bring their wings into it and the inside centre. But yeah, really tough stuff there. Right, we get underway. France not looking to kick straight away, potentially looking to run. Identifying the Italians might be a bit tired in their holes that they can exploit. So Maurici is on for Bruno. Not many substitutions left here. So it is out, and I wonder if the Italian player, and absolutely, you won't believe it, but the Italian player caught it with a foot out. I think it might have been Luca Maurici, the man who's just come on. So first touch of the ball, makes a mistake. Catches that ball while his foot was in touch. So gifting France both huge territory as well as good possession. So they once again go to Kamanwoki, but Ruza is able to disrupt. It does fall backwards though for the French side, so they'll keep the possession. They can clean it up just a little bit, which they do. Colliot, then slow ball. Strong tackle there from the Italians. Good to show that they're still in this. Tackle made, must release. Colliot then out to Lebe. Chip over the top, looking for a way through. There is space. It does fall nicely. It looks like it's potentially been knocked on there. But yeah, absolutely. Knock-on advantage, says Carl Dixon. Strong counter-ruck, so we'll come back for the scrum. Italians breathe a small sigh of relief. Julian Thomas there saying that Ramos was a great pick this week, but so are the French forwards. My fantasy team got a big boost. Yeah, we're split between New Zealand and France majority. I think those are the two big blowout games of the weekend. We'll have to see how it goes. So yeah, chat sport, they're saying in the chat, they're saying, I look forward to a team to shut those running lines down from the French just to see what they can come up with. Agreed. And we know the Springboks do have a solid defense plan, so it'll be interesting to see what the French do, if they change anything, and how the Boks can counter that, right? How in defense they can quell any sort of attack. Really, they're sort of identifying that, yeah, the sense that almost just dummy runners and it's passed out wide. I think Dante does get the ball a lot, right? I mean, he is an imposing figure. He's fast, he's big, he's strong, so silly not to use him. So I do think he sees the ball. I think Foucault's, yeah, really not. And then, you know, when you bash Dante up enough, then you potentially use it as a bit of a dummy and you throw it out the back. Really, they're saying Olivon has twice Dante's points and he's already off. Yeah, no, it is madness. I think Olivon did have a big shift. But yeah, I think Dante's played well. I don't think he's played bad, but just not finding the try line. Right, Italian scrum goes well. They go to the right-hand side into some space. Good go forward ball from the Italians. Then out to the left, they come out to the back. So not going to the forwards. Ione having to chip it over the top, running into some traffic, so not able to quite get there. Well dealt with, but does make the tackle. So good work from him there to chase his own kick, put the pressure on the French. But here come the French. Tau Fefuna into contact. And Coolio looks to box. Again, outside the 22, so he'll have to keep this in touch. Needs to use it quickly, though. Ione once again looking for some holes, but not finding his way around the French defense. Cabrizi then out to Thomas Alan. Alan all the way out to number 23, Lorenzo Pani. Fusco back inside. Here we come to the left. Good from Italy. Nice work there, making sure not isolated though. Here comes Pani again, or Fusco. Nice hands from the Italians. Good work. The space is opening up now, which is better for them. Again, they just sort of sleep for the first couple of, 10, 20 minutes and a half, and then start to open up. Again, as we said, I think, who was it earlier, saying that the moments, we want to see more from Italy. We don't want to just see moments. We want to see them playing good, consistent rugby. No one there in the 9 position, so having to play it themselves. This is good. Walking the French defense back, always over the advantage line, more or less. Come to the left-hand side here. Again, working it all the way down to the 5-meter channel. Nice job here on the wing. He needs to go. Where's the support? Looking for the pop back. Kone picks up and goes. Isolated, though. This is good from Italy. Probably one of the better try-scoring opportunities they've had in the second half, possibly in the whole game. Can they get over the try line? Strong tackle there from the French defenders. There is space. It needs to go. There needs to be hands. It can't find its way out of the hands of Ruza. It's loose, it's scrappy, so potentially, here we go. Nice strong drive for the line. It is advantage. He is over the try line. It is indeed number 20, Manuel Zuliani, who comes up with the try for Italy. So fantastic work from the Italians there. Nice job. A very broken, scattered play. Nothing really structured about that, but constantly driving the French backwards. The French defense not able to set fast enough. Good work from the Italians there. So, yes, says Ruri, at last, Italy, finally, they get a try. So, good work there. Nicely done. Diallo saying, I think New Zealand will take the trophy in the end. Most likely New Zealand versus France. Very, very fascinating, Diallo. I think a lot of people would disagree with you given the form New Zealand are in. I agree you can never write them off, but I don't think they particularly look like World Cup winners at the moment. Much better sides. But who knows? They've got one of the best pedigrees in World Cups. So they'll be looking to do their best. But nice work here for Italy to get onto the scoreboard. You do feel earlier after they were, I'm going to say, robbed of that try from a terrible decision from the TMO and referee. That does feel like a bit of justice. So good work to them. And Tommaso Alan, no issues with the kick there. So 52 points to 7. So it's good work to just keep the ball alive and not allow the French defense to set. Constant pick and goes, but good strong work there from Zuliani. Had a lot of work to do, showing great strength. Yeah, Philip Vogt there saying, thankfully, the Italians got the try. Absolutely, Philip, agree with you 100%, guys. Once again, guys, make sure, if you haven't already, please make sure you've liked the video. I know it's late into the video, but it still helps us with our analytics. Like to see sort of what you guys are enjoying, as well as recommendations and everything. So please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Look at potentially becoming a channel member. It allows us to bring you great coverage like this, not just for rugby. You know, we're looking to expand. Obviously, the Cricket World Cup is underway at the moment, and it would be fantastic to look to bring you some of that coverage. So, yeah, if you can, 19.99, excuse me, a month, 19 rand 99 a month, and it really does make a massive difference. So here come Italy on the defensive charge, but they've gone off their feet and they're giving away a penalty, and the French have gone quickly. Can the Italian defense then scramble back? It looks like it's going to get very messy now. This looks like it's going to get ugly. So Tommaso Alan has gone down. Looks like he's been hit in the face at something. And then the Italian flanker, I think it was number 6, absolutely just flew in there. I think it was Negri who just came in like a bat out of hell. Not sure if you hadn't heard the whistle. Oh, just a boot there on Tommaso Alan's face. So nothing nefarious, just catching it and causing some blood, but looking like in some real pain. Yeah, Philip, they're just talking about potentially the refs being pressured, you know, with the French supporters and fans and whatnot. And yeah, it could very well be that, you know, and the French really do let their thoughts known, you know, in the crowd. But you would hope these guys are professional enough where that doesn't come into it. But you never know. But yeah, we'll have to see. I'm sure there'll be a review of the game. Hopefully there will be in some of the calls. Alan, what are you talking about? Was it really 125 BC when Italy last beat France? I can't tell if you're having me on here. But yeah, I think that probably sounds about right. Home crowd pressure and support definitely boosts the team. Yeah, no, and there's nothing you can do about that, right? That's such an advantage for the side, but you just don't want that sort of that to start influencing referees' decisions and calls. And Tom Dupont on screen, no doubt, getting a loud cheer. How grateful his nation will be that it's positive news. That he will be back ready to take on the opposition in the quarterfinal, which looks like most likely to be the Springboks. I think Bok fans were not relieved when Dupont was not playing, but I think there was a big collective sigh. And then the news came through that he will be back, which is fantastic for the game and for the World Cup. But yeah, I know which team I'd rather face. Right, France, 5 meters out, line out off the top. Here they come. Dante, strong run, but brought down 2 meters short, 3 meters short. Elbari playing scrum half there. Is number 20, Cross, taking it into contact, pick and go then from Aldrich, who's again had a big performance and looking to put on a full 80 minutes. Bit scrappy here, bit messy, close to the line though. Couliard digs it out, goes again to the left. Aldrich, strong run by him, 2 meters now. Italians have to make sure they're onside. Slow ball though. And the Italians able to come up quickly. Still 2 meters, coming to the right. 1 meter, advantage, offside though. So license to play here, do the French have? Slow pick and goes. Try use the big men. War of attrition. And undoubtedly they'll be looking to unleash their backs then when they feel like the opportunity arises. Here it comes, out the back. What can we see? Does Pinot get on one more time? It is going to be Mofana though, in for his second try. Far too easy from that distance. Holes everywhere and just no one in front of him. And he's able to get over no issue whatsoever. So 57 points with a kick to come. And about 4 odd minutes to go. So will we see another French score before the full time? Or was that going to be it? Nice work from the French. They're taking it to the line. And again, just the Italian defense not able to shoot up because so many options. Generally, just picking up Mofana and Tomaso Alan trying, but ultimately Mofana too big, too strong, too fast from that far out. And yeah, we see there Alan on screen, his face beaten, battered, bruised, and bloody, which is I think what's representative of pretty much the whole game for the Italian side. They had moments, we said it, they had periods, 15 minutes towards the end of that second half, or the first half rather, and then there have been a few moments in the second half. Nothing like that first half though. And the kick is no good. Looks like it's pushed to the right-hand side, so it'll stay 57-7. You can see that Jaminet not happy with his kicking though. He knows that in this game, it doesn't particularly matter, but there will be in some games where it'll come down to potentially one kick where he's on the field. So Italy try and getting us underway with a short line out, but Cameron Woki there at the front. Nice little offload from him. So France definitely saying, well, the game's not over yet. We've got 3.5 minutes to go. So let's play out to the right-hand side. They come. Good, strong tackle from Ignacio Brexto. I think he's had a good game for the Italian side. Nice steal, though, from Italy. So Italy with possession here. Ioni running, good break from him upfield. Where's the support? Completely isolated, just blue jerseys around him. Eventually brought down. Ball's a bit messy, but out it comes to the right-hand side. Chipped through by Alan. Dante then, very, very loose stuff. A little bit of football skills. Looked like he definitely stepped out there, but now he's back with the front side. So Pinot, ball in hand. He'll look to kick it away. So breathes a sigh of relief. Very, very close there. Almost, absolutely very, almost. How close was that to one more late Italian try? Very exciting stuff. showing that they can score in those positions. Better just looks like from loose play, though. They never really looked threatening from any kind of structured sort of form. But the Italians still in the game. Well, not on the scoreboard, but at least still showing up and posing a threat. Does look like Gregory Aldred has been named man of the match. I think he's had a great performance, so well deserved. Here come Italy, though. Can they end their Rugby World Cup campaign on a positive with a try? Nice work to the left, inside, then out again, then inside, and then it's knocked on. So just forcing one too many passes here. You feel like France might look to kick or run. They do indeed kick it out. Long searching probing kick, 50-22, 50-22. I think indeed, which is just enormous. They go quick, they fire it inside. Massive hit on the French player. Didn't see the Italian at all. It was Jaminet got absolutely melted. I think the French maybe just trying to get that advantage, but great kick from Jalibert there. Huge 50-22. Basically 22-22. And then, oh my goodness, just a bit of a hospital pass there. Massive hits, driven backwards, ball dislodged. Alan, repeats, France by 50, mate. You're spot on. You've got a minute left, but good work. Potentially someone can rain on your parade. But that is a great call, Alan. Well done. Right, French line out on the 22. They do have an advantage, though. It looks like penalty advantage. Inside, Belbari smoked. Out to Cross. Surely they give a Penaud one more try just to make the fantasy extra sweet, but we will come back for the penalty advantage. 10 seconds to go in regulation time. I feel like the French might look to kick this downfield, pin it into the corner, see if they can get the forwards over one last time. We are into the red on the clock. I think that's it. The players seem to be sort of congratulating one another. A bit confused unless they've just tapped and kicked it out, sort of saying, look, we don't need another one. We're happy. Let's not take any potential injuries. But no, the game is indeed going on. So, but early celebrations there. They've pointed to the posts. That's why. So potentially some kicking practice, safe option there. Thanks, Rui. Yeah, appreciate that. Just seen there. So here we see Jaminet slot the conversion, no issues, and over it goes, guys. So there it is, 60 points to 7. So Alan, I'm sorry, mate. You were so close, 53. I mean, you get the SUPERBRU points, but good work there. 53 points. They just had to rain on your parade at the end there. Sorry, I mentioned that. But fantastic, guys. Thank you for joining me here for this coverage of France versus Italy. Our dominant French side, Italy, just a team of moments, never really in it for any extended period of time. So that is Italy's World Cup done. France do finish their pool play atop of their pool, winning 4 out of 4. So fantastic work from the home nation. And boy, do they look in good form and likely to take on the Springboks in that quarterfinal match. And what a match that will be. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here on Forever Rugby, on Forever Sports. Once again, massive thank you to all of you joining, as well as our channel sponsors. Huge thanks to BitDefender as well as BOYLESPORTS. Dayala saying thank you for excellent commentary. See you all again. Thank you so much, Dayala. We appreciate it, guys. Thanks for getting involved in the chat. Again, really appreciate all of you here. Have a lovely night, chat sport, you too. Enjoy, guys, rest, and make sure you come back tomorrow, right? We'll be covering all 3 games. and especially the big one between Ireland and Scotland. Anyway, that's it. Have a lovely time, guys. And yeah, until next time, we'll see you soon.